one, if not both. You want to make sure you're leading by example, being the prototype. Okay. Mrs. Bean and I were talking last night, and there were some things that we want to make sure that we continue to focus on, that we were doing when we first launched our first seven-figure company, from a network marketing perspective and a building perspective. So that we're going to be having a conversation with the leadership team, and we're going to go over some things on one of the next upcoming leadership calls. I'm having an impromptu one because it's important. I want to make sure that everybody understands that, in your first 3 years, of business, that's one of the biggest decisions, for companies actually happen. The ones that sink a company are the ones that make a company, thrive. Again, those happen in the first 3 years. And so we're just always looking at our what are we doing right journals and what do we do right journals to make sure that we continue to do what we were a part of to create the wealth that we did and the success that we did for other people. So we're going to be getting back with the whole entire team once we talk to the leaders first and make sure we understand what the marching orders are. When it comes to the subscriptions, I mean, you guys saw the impact yesterday. So you saw your numbers run again yesterday. You saw numbers. Yeah, there you go, Angel. There you go. Yeah. So I was looking at the whole entire group's numbers, and so a lot of you guys saw that the number that you was at, on the 25th of the month or the 27th of the month or even the 30th of the month, or 28th of the month last month. A lot of you guys see that those numbers are already there. And some of you guys have already eclipsed those numbers because you've already started putting people in business also throughout your team in the earlier part of the month. Okay? So that's one of the things that, again, a lot of people are experiencing. They're extremely excited about. The hope is gone from it just hoping it's possible to knowing that it's possible and people seeing how close their goals really are and how close their goals really have been. It's a lot of people, they would have saw it this way, a year ago. They'd already be 500, 1,000, 2,000. But it's one of those progressions, when it comes to companies. Every company goes through their progressions. Every company has their core beliefs, core values, core ways that they do things. And sometimes you just have to put yourself in a position where, yeah, you go out there and you do what's required. So when you do what works, when you do what works, you can go back and say, hey, look, this is what we did. Remember, this is what we talked about. Remember, this is what, I was trying to get you guys to see. And that's the same thing I do with our leaders. When it comes to our leaders, I'm always open for conversations. We're always looking to get better, looking to get more efficient, more effective, making things simple, um, for everybody who comes on board. Because remember, everything that you're doing right now, you're introducing the people to something exciting, something that can change their life. But for most people, you're introducing them into the world of entrepreneurship and the world of independence. And this is a world that they're not used to. Okay? It's like moving into a new neighborhood. You don't know anybody, and so you don't come out the house. The only thing you do is go to work, right? And so this is a situation where we want to create the exact opposite of environment. We want people, walking outside, meeting their neighbors, knocking on doors, and getting used to the whole entire process, having conversations, and it be simple, going through that process, getting a person started, and it be simple, going through that process, getting person to rank advance, and it be simple. Everything you want, everything to be simple because human beings are already complex individuals. You'll mess it up if given the opportunity. And it's just something about you that's got to make it more complicated or make it more challenging or more whatever it is, where, it's you're pretty much doomed to fail if you're left to your own vices and your own beliefs and philosophies. So that's why it's always, when we talk about that never ending process, it's always a never ending process of personal development, on yourself as well as, on your team. Because remember, you didn't get this way overnight. Okay. Even if you were a person who made, you make $500,000 a year to $1 million a year, you didn't get that way overnight. You had to grow into that. So So some of us have been growing regressively. Like we got to the point to where the most money that we make, comes from what we earn off of jobs, right? And that's the best we've done. That's the best we could do based on conditioning. So anytime you have to get an individual, because remember, it's everything we do makes sense. Everything we sell makes sense, right? It's just that a person can see the value in what we bring to the table, but if they don't believe that they can do it, that's the thing. If they don't believe, if it's not simple, if there are no results, right? If nobody's doing it before them, then they won't do it. Okay. For them, they understand it's possible, but for them, it's probable. For me, it's always probable. Right. It's just my thinking is different. And so you want to be the person, to where when we talk about something, we show you a vision and boom, it's always possible. There's nothing that can get in the way. And your team feels the same exact way. That's the culture and the environment that you want to create, around the people who are coming in. That's how you provide and protect for them. Always positive, always promoting, always recruiting, always selling. You're always winning, basically, in front of your people, and also in spite of them. Okay? You have to put together a resume that doesn't include them, even if they're on it a little bit. Make sure you do as much damage without them, because that's the humbling effect of what we got going on as well. Because you'll have a person who they may have a nice little group, or they may even be a builder 500 or builder 1,000. And if you're the same rank or a lesser rank, or even one rank ahead, there's no respect there between you and that individual because y'all are so close. Right? You got to get out and run. You got to get out and grind. You got to put so much distance between people that they can't stop and rest trying to catch up with you. It's no competition, but you want to make sure that when it comes to you showing a level of action and activity, you want to make sure that uh, people can't, it's hard for them to compete with you. Remember, you're the prototype. You're the example. Okay? And so I know, let me give you an example. I know if people coming into the business center market in San Antonio, I know their feet gonna be hurting because they're gonna be knocking on doors and everything else, uh, trying to keep up with Freddie. He's gonna be out there in the street hunting. He's gonna be out there grinding. He's gonna be doing his thing, right? And if you're in Houston, you trying to keep up with Angel at a networking event is gonna be a problem. Good luck, right? Then you got some people who, when it comes to making phone calls, they just sit down, they're gonna make phone calls 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that activity shows because the results are showing up. Or people who are presenting 2 or 3 times a day, not 2 or 3 times a month. God forbid, Angel goes back to the person who who was doing 8 a day, you know. And so you always want to be the person, like Solar Vic at Home Depot every day and coming up with leads. So he didn't just find one person there and stop going. He found, one person there and made it a habit, made it a daily ritual. And now everybody knows they can find him at a Home Depot somewhere near you, or somewhere near him. Right. So, this it's about what we are showing, because right now we're in the most impressionable moment, in our career, in our tenure, when it comes to build. You have, for those of you who have children, there's a time in a window where your kids are very, very impressionable, and their minds are like sponges, and you create their fears. You help them create and develop their fears, help them create and develop their belief systems and everything else. It's the same exact thing here, when it comes to the people who you're bringing on board. Yeah, they are 100% adults, but again, in this situation, nobody knows how to behave. You can't have people who are getting started and don't have the results, don't have the resume raising themselves. That's irresponsible, right? That's not leadership. Okay? And so that's the most important thing right now, knowing that over the next, year to 2 years, because we've already braved the first year out, 27 million in the books first year. Um, we're only moving forward fastly, but you're going to see in the next 3 to 5 years who built it right and who built it wrong. Right? You'll see over the next 5 years who got it right personality wise and who got it wrong. You'll see some people who over the next they're going to make a lot of money, and that's one thing about this company that is going to be one of the things that we have to catch early on before people actually start making money is the fact that we know there are some people who are not going to um, get personal development. They're not going to go, and read books, and they're not going to go and do, the audios and stuff like that. It's just not going to work on themselves. It's just going to come in, grind, make money, and that's fine. But those can't be the people who lead the company. Now, those will be the people who will cause most of the problems because, again, a lot of times you have the egos, right? And those are the people you won't be able to tell them anything at that point in time because they make too much money for you too. Right. So you have to, teach people along the way and groom people along the way and develop leaders along the way. So when they do come into that money, they know how to behave. They know how to handle success. And that's what keeps the company around and keeps the company healthy. A lot of bad people making a lot of money, nobody know how they got there, and nobody's personally developed, the company will go away. You had a good what we call run as a company. Remember them days where we had that we killed it. We had so many people at six figures, keyword had, right? We had so many people at seven figures, keyword had, right? I had hundreds of builder 1,000 and 500s and hundreds of builder 8,000 and 4,000 and keyword had. It'll all go away. Okay. So what we got to do here is we got to make sure that we are the system. We got to make sure that we master the mundane, the little stuff, the boring stuff, right? That everybody takes for granted. Like you'll have people who won't get on a call like this, but they'll get on a call where you actually have prospects on it and you wing it. You're probably the most dangerous person on the call because at that point in time, you literally now have taken um, the work that two people did, multiple people. You've taken the work that the individual did who did all the inviting for the event, and you ruined it. You can ruin it. Then you take the work that the speaker did and set up time off the calendar, or whatever, and you get on there, you can blow it and ruin the work that they did, right? And so we want to make sure everybody knows how to behave in certain situations and want to make sure everybody knows how to conduct themselves in certain situations. And we're going to go over some of those things today, but and some other things as well, a lot of important things today. But I wanted to make sure that we have that dialogue in the beginning to let you guys know exactly where we're at so you can mentally check in and know that it's time to bootstrap, pull them up, just go down there and pull up your boots, strap them in, and let's get to work on ourselves. Because if we work on ourselves, the company it'll take care of itself. The company will evolve, and so we just got to make sure everybody does their part first and foremost. So let's go back to what we do, and what I'll do is, and like I said, guys, we're gonna keep these about 60 seconds because I want to make sure we get through everything we're gonna talk about today. But we'll start with Carla, with your weekly reflections and what's going on in your week. What did you as when you look at like your weekly reflections, what are your wins? If you have wins, what are your wins? Two, what did you learn, from any of the trainings that went on that week or anything that happened in the company that week that you benefited from or that you used? And so we'll go with Carla.
Good morning. Thank you for allowing me to share. So, my win this week is not directly related to to what I learned this week, but it is to a degree. Um, for example, I was listening to Mr. Chris Hart's training,
Mhm.
and this week has been a very busy for me at the job, wherein I had a couple of programs, one of which is a guest speaker who I've been negotiating to get done for over 5 years. And that person was my cousin who spoke on campus, and she gave a very inspirational story. And then I capped the week off by taking a few students to two of the local museums in Baltimore. And how this relates is the persistence that it took to get Dr. Wynn Grant to speak at the college. How do I translate that into my business? So that is the thing. And then a quote from Reginald F. Lewis is keep going no matter what. So that is my win for the week and my lessons for the week. Thank you.
Keep going no matter what. Okay, I love that. Um, goes here line in line with one of those quotes I like, which is, stop quitting, quit quitting. That's the only time you lose is when you actually quit. And so, I appreciate that and continue. Remember, everything that we do, guys, everything we learn, everything we become impacts the rest of our life. You don't just, become personal development, a guru and live this stuff just for a build. This stuff helps you in your marriage, helps you as a parent, helps you as a person in society. It helps you in the companies that some of you guys work for, run, own. The personal development side of it, the skill sets that you're learning. When it comes to communicating with people and getting people to come speak at the college and stuff like that. And remember, you've been through GCU. Everything that's happening in your life and the person that people are talking to now, that's a different version of you, one that they love even more, the one they respect even more, right? And so they've always cared about you. And now when they hear that your level, of understanding when it comes to business and having those type of conversations have increased, they have a whole lot more respect for you as well. So they start looking at you different. They start shaping you in their mind differently, and you just continue to add on to what they're experiencing. Just make sure that every time they meet somebody new. All right. Sabrina, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to share this morning. I've actually the last few days I've been on the Grant Cardone. He's been giving these free classes, and I'm signed up for the 10X conference he has next week. And one of the things, we were driving last night and we were listening to him, and I know you said it, Angel said it, I've heard it tons of times, right? But I know for myself now that I'm not doing enough. I'm not putting enough to the grind. I do work,
Mhm.
but it's not enough. It's to the point where if I don't make this happen, it's not about Eddie. It's not about what Eddie does. It's about what I do. And I'm realizing that I can't rely on Eddie. I can't rely on him to go do networking. I can't rely on him to do other things. I have to do my part too. I have to get down in the mud and literally put my hands to the plow and make this happen if I want my life to change based on what we have our hands on.
Mhm.
And that was huge for me. Just to be able to say this right now is
Mhm.
huge.
Mhm. Mhm. That's huge. It is huge. I appreciate you, and guys, honestly, this is probably one of the safest places you can do business in. And so it's very, very empowering, when you can have moments like this and have breakthroughs like this because you're having them with people who care. And it's growth. It's a lot of people who feel like you, that you've actually just empowered, like, or people who will go back and watch the redo on this or the re-air of this, and be like, you know what, I understand exactly what she's going through, because a lot of people have that same, and I'm gonna share some with you. A lot of people have that same um, mindset, but it's not what their spouse is, what their upline. It's like, Angel's here for me, so Angel's gonna do all the head work, or, you know, Laura's here for me, or Dr. Orleans are here for me, or Sabrina's here for me, or whatever. But they have that relationship with their upline, to where they feel comfortable tagged on to the upline, and the upline is doing most of the work, and so it's also shielding the work that they don't do, or the quality of the work that they don't do. Basically the lack of quality of the work that they do. And so it's one of those things that's like it's most people are happy at being in somebody's shadow, not being um, the person who's out there taking the hits, the person who's out there taking responsibility and accountability for what's going on in their businesses. And so I appreciate you stepping forward to actually, have that word with people, because uh, that's an empowering moment for yourself. Because once you wake up and you take ownership of it, there's nobody out there that can stop you, honestly, including you. Once you say, hey, look, this is what it is. It's my time. It's my season. And it's not January 1st. It's the first day of the rest of my life. It's the day I made the decision to go out here and kill this thing. That's when things happen. That means that love Eddie, but Eddie is irrelevant when it comes to my success. Eddie is not going to be doing my presentation. He's not going to be. I'm not going. And now it's going to be about what you bring to the table, who you are in the process, and because you don't want to be walking across the stage, Sabrina, as a plus one. You know what I'm saying? When we do recognition and stuff like that, you want to know for a fact. You don't want to be I remember somebody told my wife, it was one of the most disrespectful things they could have ever told my wife. Told my wife, it must feel good, basically, being able to sit at home and send text messages out every day. That basically is what they thought my wife did. Whew, boy, that didn't sit well with her. But that's the thing, is like you want to, when you out there in the trenches, you out there in the field, you out there, you're not known as the wife of, he's the husband of Sabrina. Oh yeah, that's Sabrina's husband. Everybody knows Sabrina because Sabrina's grinding, as opposed to knowing Eddie because Eddie's grinding. Okay, and so there's a time when me and my wife, both of us were presenting for the company in front of the room. As a matter of fact, sometimes we presented, in the same week, and sometimes we presented on the same day together, right? And so, but it was just one of those things where they never, was able to say, "Hey, Miss Bean don't do nothing." She was always in a position where she was in front of the room. So until we decided it wasn't best for her to do that, we wanted her to work as me. I say we, I'm talking about me and her, in a different capacity, right? But that independence, that says a whole lot for a whole lot of people. Just having the courage to come on and say that, you gave somebody the courage to do it in silence. And so, but this is how it begins. And I appreciate you. And I'm proud of you. I got the presenter coming, guys. I'm telling you, she coming. She coming. I'm working on it. All right, Angel. You're next.
Thank you, Mr. Bean. Hi, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to share in this beautiful platform where we can be safe and feel safe and be vulnerable and, be guided to the next level. So thank you, Mr. Bean. Are you talking about me? Because that's how I was, right? Love living in the shadows, right? They call me the ninja for no reason, for a reason, right? Because I used to, so let's say like to live in the shadows, and Mr. Bean and Mrs. Bean was like, nope, push you out, little one, right?
Don't get to do that no more.
Right. We're gonna have to do something about that. And Sabrina, I completely share exactly what you felt, because I felt the same way, right? I like to live in the shadows. I like to have people that I can promote, and I didn't really promote myself at that time too much, right? Because I wanted to stay in the shadows. And Mr. and Mrs. Bean is, that my rich mom and rich dad, and said, nope, we're pushing you out. And ever since then, there's no looking back. My wins for this week, I wanted to touch a little bit on that, but my wins for this week was coming out of the glamping, where it's not if, it's when we're going to have the talks about putting solar on that clamping ground and other camping sites and other things that he has business in as well, all over the nation, including his other investors. So that's exciting news coming in. And then also my new person also has a residential, right? Because while we were there, she was talking to the GM, and the GM was like, hey, I used to sell solar and I love solar. I need to get solar on my house too. And then had conversations there about a person who was having a challenge with insurance claims on their roof. So, it's just opportunity everywhere. And it wasn't an easy, easy time to get there. So I know if you guys are going through some challenges, just stick and just keep on pushing ahead. So we had challenge with the rental car. We had challenge with getting there. We had challenge was not even fed because we were driving 6-7 hours to get there. We're supposed to be there at 5 in the afternoon. We got there at 10 o'clock when everything was closed. So I'm telling you, when something is about to happen, just trust that there's going to be a lot of obstacles trying to get in that way. But we made it there, and look at all the results that's happening from just that one weekend. So
Yeah.
super excited. And for the training for this week that really highlighted it for me, Mr. Bean, is actually, everything that you've been able to teach us and given us. But my win for this week, all of that is great, and I have more wins that are coming. But my win for this week is actually being able to be there for my children this week. So this week, they have been off on vacation. And this week, I was able to tell them, you know what, guys, what do you want to do? This week is all about you. And I did work too, which is what I love, because I can work and be there for my family, right? But I said, it's all about you guys. What do y'all want to do? What do y'all want to eat? And everything's on mommy this week.
There you go. And I'm gonna tell you, guys, when you go through some stuff, first of all, let's go backwards. Always reward your kids and family members for the time you take away from them. And so I literally, when it comes to my kids, my kids know that, obviously we're going to be busy a lot when it comes to launching a company. This is not their first time going through this with us. This is at a point in time where they may need us more than ever based on the stuff they're going through as young teenagers and young men, 13 and 16-year-old. But they've always known that there was a reward system for them allowing us to go about our day and do our thing. And they allow us to do it, to go out and mind their own business, play the games, whatever, go play basketball, go swim, go be busy while we're doing our thing. Or over the weekend while we're gone, we come back. There's always rewards in place. There are always vacations in place. There are always things that they want, that we reward them with. And so always reward, your kids, because when you reward your kids, the rewards replace the resentment. Okay. And this is how you never have to worry about being a very, very successful individual, being gone all the time, and then you have a 27-year-old or 30-year-old that you got to go to counseling with because you was never there. Right. And so, you're like, hey, I did all of this for you. No, at the end of the day, I get it. It's not what you do, it's how you do it, though. So again, your family members, your kids, remember, the kids are the reason why a lot of you did it. Right. And so reward them. Your spouses are a reason why a lot of you did it. Again, so when you're moving around, you're making things happen, hey, take some time, have date nights, go on some trips, do a little bit of shopping, whatever it is. Doesn't have to do a whole lot, but reward the people who are making the biggest sacrifices. Okay? The people who are making the biggest sacrifices are the ones you live with. So make sure that you reward them. And when it comes to calendars, guys, you always want to book out your spiritual time, book out your work time, and book out your family time. I know when we first went on our run, it was just Kim and I. We didn't have any kids at that point in time, so the family time was just our date night, and that was either on a Friday night. Most of the time it was on Friday night. Sometimes it was on Saturday night, but most of the time on Friday night. And so we didn't do business that night. But every other night, Monday through Friday, after we got off work or whatever, we were straight up running, building the business. And on Saturdays, we did 1 or 2. And if it was the end of the month, probably 3 events on a Saturday. And these are physical events. And we didn't have Zoom, right? On Sunday, we had our spiritual time. And at the church, we had dinner, and guess what we'd do? Go have another event, depending on if we had anybody that was launching at that time. But when we were initiating, all of our time was mapped out. When we started having kids, then we had family time that we invited them into. So again, that's levels, for some people. When you get to that point, they'll know this. You'll be thanking me at some point in time because of how you treat. Like I have a sign on my door that says, "Do not." And I put it up. It says, "Do not enter, recording or presenting." And when they see that sign, they don't come knock on the door. They don't come distract you or whatever. They just walk by, and they look to see if I'm speaking now, as opposed to just barging in like they used to. And if they see I'm speaking, they see the lights on, they just wave and keep it moving. And I'll just wave back and keep it, and keep it pushing. But you want to have that type of, relationship, in your family. You want to know that they need to know that there are things coming based on your absence and based on you having to be busy. Now, the other thing is this: it feels a whole lot sweeter when you actually have an accomplishment after you went through something. I'm not saying go find something to go through just so you can feel good about your successes. I'm just saying that when you go through hell, and you see the heavens on the other side, man, this is, man, I just went through some stuff and I don't wish that on nobody, but I'm so happy that, I didn't quit, and I said, that the one that, what's the name of the book? Something, 4 feet from gold, 6 feet from gold, something like that. But person went through all those trials and tribulations and quit, basically sold the property they had out the gold mine on, and they were only, 6 feet away from, a vein of gold that would have created a whole lot of other wealth from it. So don't quit, guys. Never ever quit. There's always something on the other side waiting for you that you can appreciate. All right. And again, guys, want to make sure we keep it to 60 seconds for me, please. Appreciate that. Say cool.
Yes, Mr. Bean, thank you for the opportunity to share. I'll be really quick. 2 wins that I had this week is I had the opportunity to sit down with Mrs. Bean to go through the Rain 2.0 presentation, and we purchased the Alka 75. And so we're in the process of finding a plumber and all the other steps she told us to do. So we're very happy about that. And I also had a opportunity on the commuting train to meet someone that wanted a solar quote. So I got his bill, submitted it to Hans, and we're going to have a presentation at 2 o'clock today. And so, on my rotation this week is listening to the first law of leadership by John C. Maxwell.
Maxwell. There you go.
That's all I have. I did that in 60 seconds.
Hey, look, you killed it. Like I said, following instructions is where it's at. Mrs. Bean gave y'all a big shout out because that's what y'all do, right? Follow instructions. And so, and that also, again, she appreciates you guys doing that because it puts you in a position where she can now edify you for doing the one thing that everybody should be doing anyway. It's crazy how you have to celebrate people for following the instructions when that's what people should be doing anyway. That's why I say you're dealing with human beings. You're not dealing with adults. Forget the adult stuff. You're dealing with people who are programmed. So, and people are already programmed before you found them, before they found you. So know that, you got some work to do. Freedom ain't free. You're gonna have to you gotta help some people come around. So I appreciate you. 1, 2, getting that water, that alkaline water machine guy. I'm gonna tell you that'll change your life. I love mine. I'm sure you're gonna love yours. And matter of fact, I was just thinking about the next event. So Angel, I need you to beef me up on events on this side of town. But yeah, I'm gonna when I start doing events again, or when I start doing events, period, I'm not gonna have just my my table with my laptop on it. I'm gonna have a cover made with I think I'm gonna have like the table cover with all of the B suite companies on top of the table, so a person can see on top of the table, and like one of those vertical banners. Probably have one of those made with all the different companies and stuff like that on it as well. I'm gonna have a big 5-gallon jug of water on my table, with the so people can have the cups, and they can sit there and sip and have Rain H2O water while they watching me, point and read and go over what we do. Okay, and so I'm just telling you, you have it. You become a walking, living, breathing billboard, and it becomes a part of your life and a part of your business. You're gonna live a healthier life and make way more money from it. Guarantee it. Say cool. Guarantee it. Keep on following instructions, my friend. I appreciate you. Dr. Let's see here. Dr. Arlene.
Good morning, sir, again from Curacao. And I really have to give a testimony today about the Grant Cardone system and utilization of the Grant Cardone system. And Mrs. B may have to spank my hand on not keeping it to 60 seconds, sir. So down here in Curacao, I let my sister book the reservations. And I should not have, but I did because she's my older sister and I was showing respect and deference. Well, we got there, and I immediately, as we pulled up, I'm like, no, 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 no. Dr. Arlene doesn't stay in places like this. So, but I said, I'm going to respect the fact that she made a decision. I was going to go flow with it. So we get there, we check in, and they say, oh, the restaurant closed, but go ask them for some French fries just to hold you guys over or something. And then it'll be open in another hour. We get over there, nickel and diming my dad over French fries. We paid thousands of dollars. Nickel and diming him over French fries, if they're not going to make these French fries. Well, that was a straw for me. So I politely went to the front office and I said, may I speak with the manager, please? The manager comes over and it's not hello. He's trying to have a conversation with me in the reception area, a loud conversation, and he's the loud one. So I said, excuse me, sir. I said, let's start over. I said, first of all, my name is Dr. Arlene George. Who are you? I said, second of all, we're not having this conversation in this reception area. And third of all, anything that comes out of my mouth from here on in, you need to agree with first. Sell or be sold. There's a chapter on agreement. Well, he obviously didn't take the clue or wasn't trained by Grant Cardone. We went into his office and his staff came and closed the door because his voice was that loud. I said, sir, you will lower your tone or this conversation is over because he who sets the tone is in control. And I was not about to allow him to set that tone. So he's going on and on and on, not listening to what I'm saying. And then he says, oh, by the way, the reason I'm this way is that I heard there was an angry woman at the front desk. I said, sir, I put a DJ voice on. I said, sir, I said, please do not characterize me as angry. And sir, your interpretation of me should be based on your interaction with me and not anyone else's. And you should be trying to sell me on why I need to stay at your resort right now and not leave. And he went ballistic on that one. And I said, sir, let me inform you. The next thing I'm about to say, you need to agree with. You need to say, yes, Dr. George, I agree. Then you can tell me anything you want to. Needless to say, I am no longer at that resort. Not only did he give a full refund, not only did he wait for our new hotel to be ready, he paid for transportation for us to get to the new hotel. Why? Because either he was going to sell me on why I needed to stay on Rinky Dink, or I was going to sell him on why I needed to leave and go someplace where I'm comfortable. Sell or be sold. I hope anyone else is listening to it, sir, because it works. It works. It works.
Look, and that I'm gonna just say right now that right there is a really good example, of when I say emotional sophistication, because you got some people out there, they're trying to trigger you. They need to trigger you because that's the only way that they can feel comfortable in an argument, because they know if they trigger you, that means that you're not thinking. At that point in time, they can control you, right? And so that's also why, that property is a rinky dink. Remember, fish rots from the head down. So when you look at the managers, those individuals determine, how the rest of the staff move during the day and how they treat people. And so, again, that's why they're in the situation they're in. But kudos to you, for not just leaving and having to go back and make threats to get your money back and report people, all that stuff there. Having them pay for everything, 100% of everything, that is a professional right there. That's somebody who's in total control of what's going on. You knew what the end result was going to be, and he basically didn't want to deal with you based on the fact that you weren't intimidated, and two, you were composed, And that messed people up even worse. You know, people who are people who are like that, when they see somebody calm, relaxed, that's scary. That person can do more damage. Like, I don't know what this person is playing at because you're not showing your hand. I don't know what type of damage, what type of report this person is going to do. You know, and plus she got doctor in front of her name, so if she writes up anything on us, that's not going to be good. And so, again, continue to control the conversation. Like I said, the person who controls the tone is no different than the person who asks the questions. They control the whole entire conversation and the whole entire situation. So appreciate you sharing. And guys, sell be sold. Go out there and get it. Go out there and watch it. You know, go out there and make it
Can I
happen.
share wins?
What's that?
Can I share wins this week? Can I share wins this week?
Yeah, go ahead. Put your wins in there real quick.
Okay, real quick. Wins this week were one, I had an affiliate call me back and say, hey, 2 weeks, I'll have everything together. I want to become a builder. I said, in the meantime and in between time, let's build your list and let's get some things going for you.
Mhm.
Secondly, I am away. And while I've been away for 3 days, there have been 4 appointments booked for solar with Daniel and Sarah. They're out in North Carolina, door knocking.
Okay.
And on top of that, 2 clients called back, one for Daniel, one for Sarah, and said, we're ready to go. We're going with you guys for solar. So those are my wins for this week. And by the way, lead generation continues to come into the tune of 5 leads per day from the lead generation from Landon.
Wow. That's fantastic. Congratulations. Congratulations. You know, guys, and I'm gonna tell you, when you look at is Sarah on?
They're door knocking
I was gonna say she's
in
probably
North
doing.
Carolina.
Yeah, so I know we did a an actual call yesterday. Sarah, Jai, and a young lady. I can't wait for you guys to hear her story, and hopefully she has the courage to push through. What she's going through, to come in here and win, so she gets a chance to actually to tell it. But it's just like being on a 3-way phone call, guys. You can learn a lot. And the cool part about the leadership, and I brought this up while you're on here, Doc, is because Sarah called me after the 3-way was over with. She said, Miss Bean, my mom told me to call you back and that I should debrief, the 3-way and kind of unpack this thing to see what I learned and what I can get better at. And so that's leadership, having her to call back. But she was paying attention. Obviously, we talked about what she saw, what she witnessed, and every 3-way is different. So she really got a chance to see me use the A word for the first time. I only use the A word in case of emergencies. You know what I'm saying? And so this is one of those situations where you had to break the glass. It was an emergency. And the young lady, we went through everything that we could. And we knew that the desire was there. She just didn't have the means. And so, but we gave her some alternatives. We came up with it. We were very, very creative. And she saw how I never ever took a sympathy approach. She saw me take the empathy approach. Yeah, okay, I get that. That's going on. I understand life is happening for a lot of people right now, a lot. But what we're gonna do in the interim? What we're gonna do to change it? Okay. She saw me use stories and stuff like that during that conversation, and so it was a lot that she got a chance to learn. So always do 3-ways, but always debrief. Go back, get back on the line with your leaders and talk about the conversation and what happened, so you can grow from the conversation, you can learn from the conversation, and you'll be able to teach people from it as well. And so the other wins as well. And I'm glad that the everything is coming through with you guys when it comes to working with Landon on the uh, the lead generation. That's fantastic. And having Dan out there knocking on doors is Mr. Commercial. I want to do commercial. Having him knocking on doors right now. I'm excited about that because again, just that drip process. Drip. That drip process. You can't be around the system, and at some point in time, it not just catch a hold to you. So great wins. Appreciate it. All right. Let's see here. I got a lot of stuff on my screen here. All right. All right, guys. Thomas.
Good morning, Mr. Bean and family. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, I'm gonna keep this under about 60 seconds. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it.
My man.
Sell or be sold book. I tell you, hey guys, I had an example last week. I was sharing this with Mr. Bean over lunch on last Saturday. Um, I was having some issues with my current hot tub, and I was thinking about purchasing a hot tub. My wife said, "Hey, pray about it, whatever." And I went to my hot tub store to get some chemicals, and I told them I was looking for a hot tub. They said, "Hey, somebody just called today, told me they needed to sell a hot tub." So, make a long story short, somebody was selling a 2-year hot tub that they purchased from my spa place that I normally go to, and it was a $12,000 spa. They only had it 2 years. This family had to move because their job was moving them to Chicago, and they didn't want to transfer the hot tub. So some of the things that I have been learning from Grant Cardone, we all are, we all are, we all buy stuff. We all are purchasers ourselves of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So the seller be sold. I turned it around with the guy because the guy wanted to sell it for. He said he'd take $5,000 because he had to move to Chicago, didn't want to take the hot tub. $5,000 is the way he started it. He had some other people interested. And to make the long story short, guys, I negotiated it all the way down to $2,500 on a $12,000 hot tub that was 2 years old, bullfrog hot tub. I negotiated it down to $2,500, walked away with the hot tub. And this is the thing he said. He said, I sold you that hot tub and I had other buyers that was offering me more. The reason I sold you that hot tub is because I liked you. I liked you more than everybody else. You know, when I talked to him, I got to know him. I got to know his family over the phone, where he was moving to Chicago, what kind of work he does. I just had a conversation with the guy, you know what I'm saying? And he appreciated that and told me the reason he sold me the hot tub is because he liked me and the way that I communicated with him. And
Yeah.
so I got a $12,000 hot tub for $2,500, and we
Hmm.
both were happy. And he turned me on. It was $1 million subdivision with $1 million homes. So I told him about solar. He said, "Man, you're talking to me at the right time." He said, "Our subdivision is going through something right now because a lot of people want solar in here, but the HOA is changing over." He said, "If you give it about 6 months, the door will be open here in the subdivision." So he gave me a contact of somebody to stay in contact with solar in the $1 million subdivision with homes over $1 million. So that also happened in that one transaction.
Man, one transaction is gateway to another transaction. Like I said, marijuana is a gateway drug to another drug, and pharmaceuticals, the gateway drug to another drug. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, one transaction, transaction to another transaction. I'm just saying, you guys, people don't. And I was looking at this the other day, and it's so crazy. The best opportunity in the world is the opportunity that you're in. Okay, and it's the best opportunity in the world is because this opportunity opens doors for you and other opportunities. Like you have people who, because of let's say because of this company, you have people who have never ever spoke before in their life that'll leave this company in 12 months, 18 months, 24 months. They may not even leave. They'll be here so long that they're gonna fall in love with speaking or personal development, become an author, become, a speaker, become a trainer, become somebody's officer, one of these executive officers of somebody's company that they work for. You know, and when you in these opportunities, working with real estate, people, you can all of a sudden at some point in time go open up a consulting company or whatever it is. When you're in these opportunities, they always lead to bigger other and opportunities and multiple opportunities and bigger the next opportunity and big opportunities dealing with all these people, bringing new ideas and concepts to you, new opportunities. So every time you go knock on a door, every time you go and have a conversation, every time you go out and sit down with somebody and you make that person the most important person in the world, that person appreciates a conversation, that person appreciates somebody who genuinely cares about them and their family, what's going on. You making that individual, feel like they mattered, and it was more than just you buying a hot tub from him. That has a lot, and a person who can do that, they do. Remember, we talk about people who do business with people who they like, they know, and that they trust. You put yourself in a likable, trustable, knowable position. So he was really willing to take that 2,500 over 3,000 or 3,500, based on the fact that he knew that the homeowner, this was going to be with somebody who he liked and somebody who would appreciate it. And so that's huge. And stay on top of that, man. Like I said, just now, I mean, we always talk about water leading you to solar, or solar lead you to water. Now you're seeing it happen, and just continue to build on, that relationship, continue to build on that connection. And I'm glad that you actually have the experience. That's the other thing. You have the experience with HOAs. So you can actually you can do research, and provide more and more firepower to help them speed up their process. When you get with him and find out, okay, so who's the voice of the group, who's the voice of the HOA, who's the voice of the community that fights against the HOA, and so when you figure out who that person is, and you go have a conversation with them, say, look, not only do I have a solar company, but I have solar in my subdivision, try the same stuff on us. And this is what we were able to do. And this is also how our solar company was able to help, right? Because Freedom will step in when it comes to HOAs and do a lot of the work for you. And they actually did the work for us, to the point to where they even got a $1,500 fee waived for us, in our subdivision. So Freedom went to work for us, but use again what you've done, okay, your experiences that you have. You are a solar user. You have a solar company, but that experience that you have with the HOA is priceless right now. That can be a painful process for them. Don't allow them to go through it without offering, right? So any advice you guys need, any challenges you guys are coming up against, any roadblocks you guys are coming up against, let me know. And what I'll do is I'll see if I can speed that up or get you guys some answers, get you guys something to fight with, back to you. So that's kind of how I will continue to add value, to that relationship, while you're checking in on your guy. So appreciate you, Thomas. Thanks for the testimonials. Let's see, Chris McHenry.
Morning.
I'll have to go bye-bye. Good morning.
This week, one is a personal win and one is a business win. So I've been helping more, hosting more, so helping organize some stuff with Juan and Jay so that we get the trainings we need. Like we did a training for a CRM training yesterday. We're setting up another training. I did one myself with some team members. So I'm just helping more because I know there's a lot of things that I can help with. So I'm just offering that as a service to help more. And with some of the builders that I'm working with on my team, I'm doing that also. And it's a testament to what a lot of people say, and what you say is like just help people without the expectation of anything, and things will just fall into your lap. So yesterday, one of my builders, she's really, really big in real estate, and the person she was gonna bring on decided they didn't want to do it, and they were just like, I'm just not interested right now. I'll circle back around. But here are 3 leads. The people that I know want solar. So she just gave her 3 leads. I talked to one of them, and they had actually signed their contract with this company, but I talked to them yesterday, and yesterday was their 3rd day. So they have 3 days in California to get out of their contract and with no repercussions. So I just talked to her. I said, hey, look, you're in your 3rd day. She explained to me the program they had or the program she thought they had. And this is one of the key things in solar is just asking a lot of questions and making sure homeowners are educated. So what she perceived to have is a government funded program. This is what she thought she had because this is how the salesperson sold it to her. So I just asked questions and I said, well, we don't have that. And I said, by researching, I know that only people that are in the low income areas that in their income is low qualify for that program. So do you have a low income? She's like, no, we're not low income. So I said, okay, so then I don't think you would qualify for this. I said, let's look in your contract and see if in your contract anywhere it says power purchase agreement. So she pulled up her contract, she signed. She said, yeah, it's like in the first 6 pages, it says power purchase agreement, Good Leap. And I said, okay, we have actually Good Leap and we have a power purchase agreement. So the way he explained it is completely wrong. You're just buying power at a lower rate from Good Leap than your utilities. And I said it should say somewhere on the paperwork the increase that it's going to go up every year. It should be like 2.9, 1.9, or 3.5. She said, oh, it's 3.5. I said, okay. So I said, so you don't have what you think you have. I want to explain to you what you do have. And I said, at this point, you can sign up with me or you can just continue with what you have, but I just want to at least make you understand because you were recommended by someone and I want to at least call her back and say, look, this is what she signed up for. I explained to her that this is not 100% accurate and she's probably doesn't really have a great deal. So we talked for like 30 minutes and she said, call my husband and call her husband, explain the same thing. And they emailed the company saying that they wanted to cancel the agreement. And I sent them a proposal. We got them a cheaper price with 11 more panels. And they're probably going to go with financing versus leasing because it's funny too. Anyone that sells knows this. Like they signed up with asking no questions. They asked all the questions to me. And I laughed and I said, you signed up with the blink of an eye, but when I'm telling you what it actually is a good deal, you guys are asking 1,000,001 questions. I was like, why didn't you ask 1,000,001 questions before you signed the first deal? And I said, but I also was honest. I was like, this is a problem. People sign up contracts and they don't really understand it. And then they then say solar's a scam. And I said, and she said, you're exactly right. And now I think about it because my friend got Sunrun and they have $1,000 bill or a couple $1,000 bill because their system wasn't sized right. And I said
Wow.
at the beginning of this conversation, I told you, I said, we don't have what you have. So if it turns out that that's what you want to go with it. But I just at least want to give you a good explanation of what you have. So her husband and her are in a group text with me. He's asking me a ton of questions, and he's like, you know what? We don't even want to do the lease. We want to finance. We want ownership. So we'll
Mhm.
probably do financing and me switching them to financing. Now my commission will actually be more. And the person that I'm helping do all this, she's one of my builders, and she's like the president of the Realtor Association. So I'm helping her so much. And she's like, look, next week we're going to go here. I want to take you here and I want to take you here. I want you to meet all these other people because she trains realtors. So she's
Mhm.
like, I want you to meet all these other realtors and tell them about the program that we're having. And that just comes from me helping her and helping other people. And my second win, I'll be short with this one, is about posture. So, like you said, Mr. Bean, my kids see me presenting, they see me having confidence, they see me hosting, they see all these things that I do, and they adapt to it and they absorb it. So I had an
Mhm.
incident, we had an incident in our family with our middle daughter. She wants to smoke. She doesn't like take any like any kid or anything. She just wants it. So this one kid at recess, my kids are African American and Indian. So my middle
Mhm.
daughter, her hair is crazy everywhere, and she's a little darker than my oldest daughter. My oldest daughter has more straight hair. So one of the kids at school said something in regards to like, you can't do this because of the color of her skin. And she was like, I can do whatever I want, and I'm a leader. So she went and told the teacher, the noon aide, that hey, this little kid said something to me and it seemed like it wasn't supposed to be, it seemed like it wasn't nice, so I'm telling you. And then she went and told her teacher, and then she went and told my wife, and then she told me last because she knew I was gonna be fired. So she told me last. So then my wife emailed the school, we're meeting with them next week, and she in the car the other day we were driving, and she said, "Hey, Daddy, so I'm a leader of my BFFs." And I said, "What's your BFF?" She's like, "Best friends forever." She said, "They wanted me to be the leader, and I'm the leader." So I said, "What do you do? Like, what do you lead them?" She's like, "I don't know. It just sounds good, but I'm a leader, like you." So I was like, "Okay." So I told my wife that, and she's like, she sees you all the time, but it was a proud moment because she's she's 7, and me and my wife are upset that our kids in general are having to be introduced to this type of behavior so young,
Mhm.
but we're teaching them in the house
Right.
to be proud of who you are and proud of what you do and be proud of what you look like. So it's just adapting to that. And like I was just like, I'm just so happy. I'm upset, but I'm happy that you reacted that way and that you knew that what they were saying is not good. And you were like, no, you're not gonna tell me what to do. I can do whatever I want. And then immediately she went and told the teacher and went through the process of, because we tell her like, tell if something you don't feel right, tell. And she was like, she told him first like no, and then when it told the teacher. So I was proud about that this week.
She took care of both sides of the table. I appreciate that. Well, that's good stuff, man. Like they really are watching. And remember when we talk about incubators, right? You got people who are going to quit, people who are going to incubate, and people who are going to build it big. The people who are going to build it big, they're not going to wait on you. They're going to build it, period. The people who are going to quit, they're going to quit, period. Regardless of what you do, they're going to quit because, again, they have people in their ear. They have stresses and challenges, emotionally undeveloped. There's a lot of different reasons why they're going to quit. Then you got the incubators who got a minute. They're the ones going to watch you. They're going to get started. They're not going to do anything on purpose. They're just going to sit back and watch. And it's just the same thing as like with your children. You know, they're watching. You're raising them indirectly. You're giving them advice, and then they're watching you give other people advice. And so it's the same thing with the people in your team. You have some people who will catch it. Like I said, the game is to be sold, not told. Like you'll have people who are sitting back and saying, "I'm gonna get something for this $99 a month. I'm gonna get some good stuff. I'm gonna learn how to be the leader in the office at work. I'm gonna learn how to be the leader at the company, that I manage or that I run or that I even own." So people are always 100% watching, but it's always amazing how your children, your actual family members pick it up, and that's when you know for a fact that you've been doing some things and it's actually working. Because my kids, like it's the same thing. Like have been able to have these conversations with you guys. It makes me a better father. And so there's not a conversation that I can't have. With them. Like I give people advice around the world every day. I got to be able to give my kids advice. Right? I got to be able to have a conversation. If I don't get mad and get emotional with people who I'm talking to around the world, why do I have to get mad and emotional when I talk to my kids? Why can't I have an adult conversation with these kids and help them, give them an understanding from a whole entirely different place, right? And so, and a lot of that's like generational curses and stuff that how, your parents responded to you or how they treated you or how they disciplined all that baggage you bring into your children's life. And so again, man, that's one of the best things. I everything that I learned, everything that I teach, I get a chance to continue to pour into my kids directly and indirectly. I love it. And when you come to your, like I said, your other win, yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're presenting, you're setting yourself up to be somebody's leader. Okay. If you are actually out there doing lunch and learns, you're doing presentations, you're launching in groups, you're doing one-on-ones, two-on-twos, and you're presenting, you are putting yourself in a position to be somebody's leader. You're auditioning, right? And that's the thing. When I talk to people, and some of y'all I talk to all the time, like I sent Angela a text message, last night, and there's a couple of y'all I have people who I'm working with that are projects or people who they're auditioning for time and they don't know that they're auditioning for time. And this is like Star Search for me. It's like I'm looking for people who I can pick out the incubator and work with them and invest some energy and resources in them. And so that's very, very important. So while you're out there presenting, just know you're auditioning, to be a leader for somebody. You're out there, you're out there in the trenches, you're out there making it happen. People are looking for busy people. People are looking for people who are confident in what they're doing. The more repetitions you get, somebody was talking about the activity earlier today, guys. It's a difference between productivity and activity. Yeah. Most people, they get active. That's why when it comes to, the 8-point system, the 8-point system is great. because it talks about accountability. But when you look at the IPAs, the income producing activity, it drills it down a little more. I don't need to know, how many times you listen to this book, this audio. We can talk about that. I want to know how many presentations you did. I want to know how many people you prospected. No, I want to know how many people you invited, because those are the activities. How many people you prospected for a sale on something. Those are the activities that the more you do them, the better at them you're supposed to become. If you're reflecting on them, if you're having a conversation, like if Brenda's my leader, and I'm sitting there having a calling party, with Brenda, I expect Brenda to correct some of the things that I'm saying wrong. But if Brenda never invited, she can't correct me. Not with authority, not with any level of integrity. And what she would be doing at that point in time, she would be coaching a lie. She would be mentoring a lie. Okay. And so she gives me any advice in a scenario she's not qualified in, she's coaching a lie. So if you're presenting, you now have the ability to give somebody some coaching on presenting. If you're inviting, you have the ability and the authority to give people, and you're good at it, and people showing up, you have the ability to give people good sound advice, when it comes to inviting. But get out there, guys, do these things in front of people. Go out here, because you never know who you're going to present to. You don't have any, just like Thomas, like having that conversation with the gentleman about, the water, and then telling them, oh yeah, by the way, I do solar. And just having that, he was auditioning. He got the audition. Yeah, he basically the jacuzzi. He was there saying, "Hey, look, your jacuzzi is it's not just gonna be used for me to dip in. It's gonna have a beautiful home. It's gonna be well taken care of. I'm gonna have people. I have one of my own. It's not my first jacuzzi, so you don't have to worry about me mistreating it. I'm gonna love your jacuzzi. Your jacuzzi is gonna feel right at home in my house. I promise you." He basically interviewed and say, "Hey, you should sell me your jacuzzi over everybody else." That conversation, having that conversation, the sell or be sold, sell or be sold, sell or be sold, right? Open up another door. So open up doors, guys. Get out here and present. Find a way to present multiple times a day, as many times as you can. One is going to help you become a better presenter, but two, it's going to, put you in a position where you are going to be able to talk to the right person one day, and that one person, I'm gonna just tell you guys, it's a whole lot easier to find the other 10,000 when you got the first 10,000. So I turned around and said, Brenda brings in, Sabrina in this situation, and Sabrina brings in Eddie, and Eddie brings in Angel, and Angel brings in Jim, and Jim brings in somebody from Mexico. Jim's not from Mexico. He just knows somebody from Mexico, and that person kills it. Okay. 17,000 people on one side of their business. How hard do you think it's going to be for everybody above that 17,000 to go find another 10,000? Not hard at all. Now you have way more motivation. Now you're energized. Now you're excited. Now you can tell people, well, I already have 17,000 on one side. Once I get 10,000 on the other side, I'm at $250,000 a month. Or when I put another 10 people on this side, I'll be at $2,000 a month. Or when I put another 50 on this side, I'll be at $4,000 a month. Or when I put another 60 on this side, I'll be at $8,000 a month. And it's a whole lot easier for you to now promote and use what you have going on in that resume to get the other side built up. You'll do way more presentations than you've ever done. You'll have way less fear than you've ever had, right? Because that's why it's got to be important for you guys to start creating spillover. Don't wait for spillover. Don't expect spillover. Create spillover. That's what leaders do. Don't wait for something to fall in your lap, that you ain't got to work for. Go out there and work for something, so something will fall in somebody else's lap that needs the actual inspiration. But just go do the presentations. The one I hated presentations. My wife, I used to, I'm like, even conference calls, like I used to have my wife do the conference calls. I'm like, I don't like doing presentations. Never had. But it wasn't about what I liked, it's about what I had to do. And what I decided to do to get us to change our situations. Right? I had a fear of public speaking, stuff like that. I wasn't groomed for public speaking. didn't have the pedigree, didn't have the background, didn't have the look, didn't have the sound, didn't have the education. Everything was stacked against me. But it was the fact that I was plugged into a lot of different people's presentations, listening to whose style my personal style connected with, right? And I would take nuggets that I can use from other people and add them to my presentation. But if they were unique to that individual, I would use that. I may, if it was just that strong, I would use it, but I would give that person credit. But I would always work on my content. I will always work on, my content and work on my delivery with every presentation. But the content always evolved. That's why now it's become a habit to where uh, you see the presentations and the conversations that I do, they're always evolving. But when you're always presenting, you're always evolving. When you're always presenting, you're always figuring out something, a different way to say something, or a different way to put something, or a different way to connect with somebody. I had like the one of the biggest compliments ever given to me from a speaking perspective in Atlanta this weekend. And as a pastor, I think it's Pastor Tim, if I'm not mistaken. I think his name is Tim. And we took a picture and everything. Really good, really cool dude. And he says, I've been around for the long haul when it came to network marketing. He said, I've seen a lot of speakers, people who have famous quotes, like my man, if I tell you, like the quote, if I say, just do it, y'all already know who I'm talking about. And so it's just different people, he named, he's like, you know what, in certain aspects, they may have made more money than you. They may have been, bigger leaders than you. He said, but these are certain people that you speak better than because of your ability to articulate words and paint pictures with words that put people in a position where they can literally see what you're saying. He says, I never really, he said, it's hard for people to do that. And he said, but you're one of the best at it. I've never seen anybody do it the way you do it. And that touched me because I've been speaking for a long time. I've been working on myself for a long time. I never considered myself an actual great speaker, ever. And it's always been a journey of development for me. So for him to say that, that lets me know that, again, what the work that I'm doing on myself is actually working. Okay. And so it's not just the results. He speaks for a living every Sunday. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, he knows what speakers, are supposed to sound like. And so I can appreciate that. But you can see, like, the things that he was saying, it shows up in the things that I put out. And so it kind of separates myself from the masses. I'm not the cookie cutter guy. I'm not the point and read guy. I'm not the guy who has slides for every presentation or every training or anything like that. I just have, for those of you like Angel, Brenda, Dr. Arlene, Chris McHenry, when y'all were in, California at the house and we did the presentation, y'all saw what happened when the actual slides didn't work. I did the presentation off the dome, like slide for slide without seeing a slide. And the slides had to catch up to me. I was like 7, 8 slides ahead of the presentation because the presentation was broke. Like it was done. Matter of fact, Roxy was there as well. So it was like you have to, go out here and do these presentations. Go out there and put yourself in a position where you're always and forever presenting. Because the other reason you got to present every day, guys, is this: there's one person you have to recruit every day, and it's you. Okay. And if you don't hear a presentation, like that every day, again, that you letting that grass grow up under your feet, right? You're giving the opportunity for doubt to sink in. If you're doing a presentation for somebody, you're recruiting yourself and you're recruiting others. And so this is, again, you guys got some good stuff, man. I appreciate that. Let's see here. So we have Jim, and then we have Vic, and then we'll move on.
Good morning, Mr. Bean.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, man, I got to jump back to Atlanta last week. I'm fired up this morning. We were rolling into Atlanta last week, and I had invited a couple of folks, and they ended up being totally after the whole presentation. I knew that was going to be late, but anyway, just being around the leadership out there in Atlanta, Deanna and Thomas, and just meeting Jabari, finally meeting him. Again, I had actually seen him in California, but just the energy, man, of rolling into a new market like Atlanta. Atlanta's huge, for one. I never knew a city where you could be an hour away from something else in the same city, but that is true. After the presentation, and my folks got to meet you briefly, we had talked about this before the meeting. Pouring into them and then pouring into me and just spending that time with them the rest of the weekend was great. We got to go to the lake house and went to their other house, and they got people, they know people, and so it's always worth a trip. Where are we going next is my question, and when is convention? But anyway, DYC campaign. So I used to work for the Division of Youth Corrections here in Colorado for 30 years. And I'm really into this campaign, man. I'm digging through all the folks I've met over those 30-year periods. We would refer kids into different programs and that type of thing. So that campaign is on fire, and Idris and I he's got to get past the reunion part of our consultations, but he's right there with me, and I appreciate that. Currently reading 360 Degrees Leadership. That's applicable in every thing I'm doing right now, and so loving that. The Drip CMR call, that was my first dip into that whole system of leads and sales, and I'm just beginning, but Chris and I believe it was Jay did an awesome job with that training, so I'm just really intrigued by that. And Facebook, man, it just continues to reinforce that people don't really look at the content. They just see this quick little image. And so whenever we post something on Facebook about our solar installs or our business, it just feeds many more than we think it does. And so I'm reinforced by that. And then the other thing, Sabrina was talking about the couple dynamic. Man, Jackie and I are fighting through it. We're getting through this whole being in business together, and maybe you and Mrs. Bean can do a seminar on couples trying to work through all this and can't supervise one another and all of that. But we just keep pushing through it. I know I can't supervise her. She can't supervise me. We're just in business together, and we're getting through all that. So awesome week, man. Just fired up, and thank you for the time.
Well, you're a time traveler, bro. Like I said, you're at every event. Like I said, you're like, it don't matter what city you're in. It's like I know you showing up before the people who actually live there. That's crazy. It's it's like I don't have to ask you if you're coming, and you don't even live in the city. You know what I mean? And so I appreciate you the way you support the group. Like I said, we had a great time out there, and like I said, we we had an even better time at the meeting after the meeting, at the Mexican restaurant that we were at, which reminds me, I need to call the young lady. Thank you for bringing it up, Atlanta. So, but yeah, we had a great time at Atlanta. So like I said, Sabrina and Eddie came in early. Laura came in and worked the table. Her and Leslie showed up and worked out as well. Deanna was the first person at the hotel. Just making sure that we were, even though Mrs. Bean wasn't there, again, we had things under control and made things happen. So, that was the first time I ever left my hotel that early. So normally I just walk in with everything ready to go. I said, I gotta get there. I gotta get there early today because Miss Bean ain't there. And yeah, so there's certain things that you tend to take for granted, not necessarily intentionally, but it's like when something's missing, I tell y'all the most important part is the part that's missing. Her being missing, like, man, that gave me some anxieties. So my event leader wasn't there. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, what would Mrs. Bean do if she was here? That's the question. What would Mrs. Bean do if she was here? So, but no, we had a great time, and I'm gonna tell you right now, just meeting your people. I'm not gonna tell his age, but I still can't. You know what? I'm like, he looked like a very legit guy, an honest guy. Oh, I would have carded him. I would have said, man, give me your driver's license. Give me ID. Dude looked amazing for his age.
Yeah.
I'm like, God help me. Let me go ahead and get my diet right. Because if I can look anything closer the way he looked at his age, oh man, that'd be amazing. So That'd be illegal, actually. Like he literally looked like he's 20 years younger than what he is, legit. Like no cap. But no, it's but those very, very good people. I'm glad that they got a chance to come in and sit down and relax and just, at least show up, and by you, the way we had that conversation, if you notice, I wasn't pushing anything like that because they hadn't seen anything to push on. Right. We just connected. We just had a moment where we met. And that's the most important thing. They got a chance to have a brief part of the Sam Bean experience. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yep.
and hopefully, I don't know what they said about me when they left or talked to you, but but I just, because I always ask, because I want to know. I always ask, and we'll talk off script, but I always want to know because I want to know how I come off to people and how I can. That's how you get better. That's how you evolve. And so I'll actually ask people, hey, Angel, so how did the conversation go after it's over? Hey, Sabrina, how did the conversation go after it's over? Hey, Freddie, so hey, Brenda, how did and so it lets you know, how you're coming off and how people are receiving you. All right. Yeah. So, but I appreciate you, Jim. Good stuff, man. And then,
You too, man. Thank you.
then we'll take it home. We'll take it home with Solar Vic, and then we'll jump into the rest of it. Good
Hello, Mr. Bean. Hello, everybody.
morning. Good morning.
First of all, Mr. Bean, I just want to tell you how grateful I am for your constant encouragement and leadership. Can't say where I'll be without you, sir. So my wins for this week, sir, is I did a presentation for a group of realtors. Follow up from the two that I met a couple of weeks ago. They think that it's a little bit too much, and I was trying to explain to them, let's just keep it real simple. So they're going to move forward. I'm going to be doing a three-way with you probably on Tuesday. Also, while doing Lyft, I met a mother and son, and and he has a brother, another son, the mother, and I did a follow-up with them yesterday. One's in North Carolina, one is in my neighborhood. Very intrigued, asked great questions. They're definitely going to be coming aboard next Friday. I've given them some instructions on what to do or what not to do in the meantime, because I didn't want them to, because people get very excited in the beginning and they jump out there too quick without getting the proper education or the information they need to help them make sure they don't mess up any money when they first get out there. So I also met a young lady who works at a furniture store, and she said she wanted to start her own leadership company, that she wanted to be able to help people learn how to sell. And I just let her talk. I was just taking it all in, and then finally got to her destination. And then I said, "You ever heard of Grant Cardone?" And she said, "No." And I was like, "Okay." And she was like, I said, "Well, it's either sell or be sold." And I got something that I'd like to share with you. And I got a real busy day ahead of my busy week coming up. I said, but I tell you what, if you can prioritize some time to listen to the information I'm going to send you, I can assure you that you're probably going to like everything that I'm going to share with you. So she texted me back last night, so excited. And she said, "Yes, I need to talk to Mr. Bean. I need to meet him." I said, "Well, first things first. Let's talk about, what exactly are you looking for? What are your goals? And how can I assist you?" So she basically let me know, like, she says, "I like what I'm doing, and I really wanted to take it to another level. And with this type of business that you guys are doing, I can see myself not only coming at this with a big, broad mind to really excel in the company. I want to be able to have access to Mr. Bean and be one of the people he can rely on." So for her to speak like that, to be so young, I was really impressed by her. So I'm doing a follow up with her today, and that was my win. And the other thing, guys, that I wanted to share is that there's not one of us on this call, not one of us, that's not going through something. Okay, and every time you're close to that breakthrough, the devil is a lie. And you got to understand, that you're going to have those challenges and you have to keep going. You got to keep pushing through, because if you let your mind take over with those negative thoughts, you're going to find yourself wandering around and wondering what happened. Well, take it from me, guys, and understand that the breakthrough is coming. It's coming, and there's nothing that can stop you. And Mr. Bean reminded me of that I'm have to go through this fire for my 6 and 7 figure year. And I just wanted to reiterate that if you're feeling some kind of way because it didn't go your way, don't stop, because the breakthrough is definitely coming. And that's when you know it's coming, because you got to go through the fire, guys. And I'm going through mine. Trust me, you don't want to know about my fire, because it's burning bad, and I'm gonna douse it out, and I'm gonna break through. So I just wanted to share that with you, Mr. Bean, that those words that you sent to me last week have really resonated with me. Even though you weren't on the call last Saturday because you were in Atlanta, I let everybody on the call know that who we have, and it's just so much grateful for you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
No problem. And remember, this is is much more than a business test. You know, like I said, it's a journey, and that you get a chance to be on this journey with human beings, right? And so, you know, people, like I said, everybody's going through some things, and you know, when it comes to your the level of emotional sophistication, you can't have a breakdown before you have your breakthrough. You have a breakdown, you become like everybody else. You know, you are just a good person who had a hard time that they couldn't get over. Hey, be the other one. Be the one that's in that small percentile. Okay. Break through. Period. Never break down, even though you're at the midst of breaking down, you're about to break down, whatever it is. All that does is make you stronger. I say, when they say what don't kill you make you stronger, it's the same thing. What does not break you, guys, will make you a fortune. It'll give you what makes you the most uncomfortable will make you the most comfortable. It'll give you the most comfortable life, you know, that you'd ever imagined, that you'd ever desired. And stuff that you're going through right now, again, that's just part of your story, part of your, you know, part of your book, part of your documentary. You know, and so that's a part of the process. That's what separates you from the people who don't deserve. That's it. So think about how special you are to be able to go through that and grow through that. That's you've been assigned that. Like I said, we talk about it all the time. You've been assigned that specific affliction, right? So you can go through it for everybody else who's going through it that don't know you, that don't have the courage to go through it the way you're doing it. That's why they call you the leader. Leaders go first. Leaders break through first. Leaders don't break down, right? They find a way to get through it with what they got going on, and they know the rest of the world really don't care about what they got going on. I told y'all, when you die, they will mourn you for a minute, if they mourn at all. Then they're going to go on with their life. And that's one of the things that most people have actually had a problem coming to grips with. So, you know what? When I die, who's going to remember me? When I die, how many people are going to be at the funeral? When I die, what's going to happen a week after I die? Right? And when you start having them type of conversations with yourself, you'll start to see what type of impact you have with people or not, you know, what type of relationships you have with people or not, what's important, you know, when it comes to people around you versus what used to be important or what shouldn't be important. So things start to change. And so, you know, that legacy, in order for you to leave a legacy, you're gonna have to leave your mark. You're gonna have to have a breakthrough, and it's gonna have to be something that people talk about, you know, when they talk about you. And so that's the thing. So now you get a chance to have that story, guys. And so don't fight your story. Don't let it stop on the table, on the editing table. Go ahead and run this thing all the way through, run the course all the way through, and give people what they want, which is hope. You know, and they only get hope based on you growing through. And I appreciate you, Vic, because like I said, at the end of the day, you know, we all go through something, and you can't. If you're not there to have a conversation with a person that can change their life, you know, and it had nothing to do with money, and you're not here to build people, you're here to build a business, which is nothing wrong with that. Just understand that people can see that, and that's going to be a temporary relationship versus a long-term relationship. Also, when you the driving, guys, for those of you who drive, You know, because we have people who are in Lyft, people who are in Uber. If you have people jumping in your cars and they're talking to you, they're communicating with you, and they're going to be in your car for 15, 20 minutes. You know, you got a 25-minute video. If that person has a background of anything that you know, anything that sells anything to a homeowner, if a person's in your car 15, 20 minutes, even though it's a 25-minute video, you know, the first 10, 15 minutes of that video is going to be interesting enough for y'all to have a conversation, some dialogue on why that person's in the car. Just send them the video, say, hey, look, let me send you something in because this is going to be something for you that's going to mess you up a little bit. You know, a lot of the realtors and roofers and people who sell stuff to homeowners, um, there's a company that people are dealing with, and it's helping them, it's showing them how to turn their businesses that they have currently running right now into perpetual profit centers. Like they just spit out money now. And so you might want to take a look at this. This may be for you, may not be for you. May be something you can use, may not be something you can use. But you got that captive audience in that car, right? And if you're doing the form technique and you're finding out the goal when you, especially when you're in short spaces, like you know you're in a line or your person's in your car, right? So when you look at the goal, once I start talking, the goal is to one, make a friend. Okay, be relatable and find out what you do for a living. Okay, and if I can, find out what you're going through, and then use this as a resource or or something to solve a problem. But the goal is to make sure I can create a connection right away between that video, that collaborate video, and the person that's sitting in that back seat. Right. So that and oh, letting people talk. Vic was talking about letting people talk. And just listening, and the light bulb goes off. Sometimes and sometimes it's so obvious that people are talking, and you just a smile comes to your face because you just heard something, and you can't even control it, but you just heard something that you can connect with, and you just keep on letting them talk, and all of a sudden you hear something else, and all of a sudden you're stacking up talking points, you're stacking up intel, and so now let me get this true. Now you give it back to him. So Jim, so what you're telling me is, so Vic, what you're saying is, so Freddie, if I heard you right, and I'm giving that back to you. So Carla, run this by me again because I want to make sure I got this. So Carla, you said that, and one, it lets a person know that you are listening. Two, again, it's helping you when you do that. It's helping you create the conversation that you need. It's buying you time, processing information. How do I actually package this? Now I can go out here and deliver it without having to just start talking right away. And that's when you know how to use your brain when it comes to like that, guys. It works. I promise you, it works in glorious ways. Because some of y'all think I'm extremely over the top intelligent. I'm not. I just process information differently, and I access all the wealth files that I created. You know, from listening to different things, teaching different things, presenting different things, and researching different things. I just make it look good, right? so some of y'all are smarter than me. I just make it look good. I'm telling you. That's just I just know. Boom, that process. Once you've done it, it's just the systematic way you condition your brain to move, and your brain will always find the answer if you empower it to, if you program it to. So magic beans. All right, come on, Brenda. Miss Nava. Buenos
Hi,
dias.
everyone. Buenos dias. I wasn't gonna speak today, but after hearing Solar Vic, man, that somebody just said you had to speak. Him talking about going through challenges and stuff. I've been going through a lot of challenges, and that's one thing that I need to work on because ever since I was little, I was taught deal with it, fix it yourself, and don't talk about it and move on. And that's something I need to work on personally, to speak about it and out. But been going through all of that, and what's funny. I've been listening and reading the Bible a lot. I'm not gonna go into that, but God has been talking to me in so many ways this last couple months. And this last week, I had people actually reach out to me that are people that I brought into the business, right? And then one of them texts me and he's like, "Hey, do you have time? And I'm reading his message. He's like, hey, hi, Brenda, how are you? Do you have time to hear about, the best project that you have ever heard in your life? And I responded, are you talking about Build? And he laughed. Because, this is a guy that I got into the business. I'm not going to mention names, but
Mm.
he reached out to me and told me about that. And I'm like, you know what? If it comes to do with another business, I am a leader in the business I am. I am committed to what I am. Build is in my heart and my blood. So I ain't going nowhere. I wish you the best if that's what you want to do, but I'm not into that. And what's funny, he's like, well, it's about travel. I'm like, well, you know what's funny? If you were to plug into the system and you would hear what Build is doing, like you were
Yeah.
supposed to, you would know that we have travel. Not only
Mhm.
that, but we have a lot of stuff. And then I had another person reach out to me for the same thing, but a different project. And, I was talking to God about it. And I'm like, are you trying to be funny? It was just funny to me. Because of everything that's going on and all the challenges that I'm having. I've been talking to people about the business and I've been telling them, but I guess a lot of people are focused on what's going on in the world right now, that they're so scared. So I don't focus on that anymore. I'm like, well, you know what? I wish you the best if that's what you want to do. A lot of the people that I know personally have decided to actually move, back um, to where I'm from. And they're like, well, once it opens in Mexico, let me know, we can talk about it. I'm like, okay, we'll do that. It's coming already. So you hear all these stories and you get all emotional about it and you're like, you don't, I try not to. And I'm like, you just got to continue, leave it to God, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen. But one thing I do want to say is remember, guys, that anything that we want in life and desire that's worth having requires intention, right? So we have to have that intention. So if you want to have a transformation from being stuck and broke where we're at, or the point that we're at, and living into an abundant life that we never had and we desire and we want, especially for, our kids and our grandkids, you have to go through stages of transformation. And I think that's what's been happening with me. And I used to take things so serious, and now I'm like, I got to smile more. I got to do this because my face is always so serious. And the way that God has been playing with me, it's just like, okay, I got it. Okay, I got to do this. Because we got to remember where we come from. And where we come from, He already said we're abundant as it is. So we have to think like that. And we just have to work for it because we're meant to do things every single day. So every single day is supposed to be better than what it was yesterday. It doesn't matter what we're going through. We have to face it. We have to become stronger because that's the reason why we're facing it. There is something we have to learn from that. So remember, those stages of transformation is awareness. We always have to learn something new. We always have to develop. And the day we stop learning, that's when we get stuck. Have intention, decision, and obviously discipline, which is something that I'm working on. I just wanted to share that with all of you. So thank you
Good
for
stuff.
allowing me to share.
No problem. And I'm gonna just like this. What you're talking about, just going unpacking it from in reverse. Um, we all remember the movie 300, right? And if you're gonna be king, there's a rite of passage. So if you're gonna be rich, there's a rite of passage, right? And you gotta slay the wolf. You gotta come back with the skin. You gotta go out there and brave the cold. You got whatever weapon you're taking out there with you, right? But you gotta slay the wolf. You gotta come back with the skin. You gotta come back with the head. You gotta come back with proof that you deserve to be the king, right? And so, or the queen. And so, at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you go through that whole entire process. And like I said, there's nothing easy about being out in the cold, freezing with a spear, half naked. Got to kill your food while you're trying to stay alive and trying to find the wolf to kill. And there's a lot going on. You know what I'm saying? And so when you look at how symbolic that really is for people who have, you know, visions of grandeur and people who are very ambitious, in order for you to get something and achieve something so great, you're going to be, like said, confronted with violent opposition. You're going to come up against it. And it's not if, it's when, and you should expect it and embrace it and smile when it shows up. That he's here. Okay. It's here. This is my time. This is my season. This is what God has assigned to me. This is what my creator has assigned to me, depending on what your spiritual connection is. And that's the day that you rejoice because now the day that you've been auditioning for is here. that moment that takes you from, being a part of the court to being the king or the queen, that day is here, right? And so you've been prepping up to this point. And so you either gonna come through it, you're gonna shine, or you don't. Because one thing about God, he does have a sense of humor. I figured that out a long time ago. And he got to all the work he does, he's got to have the enjoyment of himself. So he uses us to have his chuckles every once in a while. And some of y'all give him a lot to laugh at. I'm gonna say y'all, because I'm serious, saying I live my life. We don't play like that. But but you're gonna have people. You're gonna have, and this is the thing about, I'm telling y'all, this is how, when you're talking about the retention, guys, plugging the people into the system immediately, right? When a person's plugged in and you do what churches do, you distract them, right? Church, think about it for a second. A church will have you at church all week long. They'll have you Sunday, 1, 2, or 3 sessions. Tuesday or Wednesday, usher board meeting, choir board meeting, a choir meeting. You got the office numbers. You got deacon board meeting. Every day they got a meeting. And you know why? Because if they don't have a meeting to keep you distracted, you're gonna end up in somebody else's church, right? And so you want to make sure that your people are getting fed day one, right? Remember, there's going to be attrition and unnatural attrition, which means somebody's going to quit, period. And there's nothing that you could do about those people who quit that go to other companies. There's nothing you can do about that. They're going to do that anyway. But what you can do, even with the ones that are going to quit that you don't know they're going to quit, work on plugging them into the system immediately and let them do what they're going to do. Work on promoting these Saturday morning calls, millionaire mentorship calls, right? Immediately. Do a lot of interaction with them. Invite them out to some networking events and do things with them in person. Do some calling parties with them in person if they're in different cities on Zoom. We have to learn how to get more inclusive when it comes to the people who are in your team, especially down in depth. We got to learn how to get more connected with individuals and getting people in action and becoming a part and marrying the actual system the moment they get started. Because that's what extends their lifeline, in the company. That's what gives them more time, enough time for the system to take hold, for them to actually now start to receive some wins, right? And so when you buy them time, you buy them the opportunity to go out there and get a win. And so that's going to happen. But when it does happen and somebody does end up in another company, this is the thing. Learn this phrase. I'm 100% non-recruitable. I'm 100% non-recruitable. There's nothing that you can show me that's better than what I have. And I wish you well in what you got. But don't think that you can. Matter of fact, I'm talking to me is probably the worst thing you can do right now, because if you like what you do, you should probably leave. Because if I tell you what I got going on, you're not going to want to do that a lot longer. I promise you. Because you can't make the money that I make. You don't have a residual portfolio that we're going to create. You don't have the bonuses that we're paying out. You don't have access. I can make you feel really, really bad about what you're talking about, but that's not what I'm here for. So if you're not here to do business with me, you might want to hang up, because I'll change your mind and mess you up. I'll confuse you. I'll have you all jacked up sideways. That's what my agenda is at this point in time. You calling me knowing that I do something for a living, and I love what I do. Let me share something with you. Matter of fact, that's a 25-minute video. You might want to check that out. If you don't want to sleep at night, if you really don't want to sleep at night, you really want to offer somebody something that they can't sleep at night, watch that. But I wish you well in whatever you do. And I know you're not gonna get some sleep, so you might want to go get something for that right away. I'm just kind of foreshadowing this. You're not gonna be able to sleep once you watch this. So yeah, I make people. That's my posture. That's my confidence. That's how it's like. I don't have a problem telling you. If you push me to that point, I'm always respectful until you're not. Then that's when everything gets. Now it's me against a middle midget. At that point in time, it's like this, because you can't compete with me. Your muscles are not bigger than mine. When it comes to this business right here, no. Don't do this to yourself. So, last thing about this is that the the follow-up. I've been having more and more conversations with my day ones, like people who are inactives, going back to my inactives saying, hey, I know you haven't been plugged in, and that's fine. I get it. But I just wanted to make sure that I do my part and come and update you on everything that's happening right now. I had about 4 of those phone calls yesterday. I got 3 people reactivated. They hadn't been active since day one. Matter of fact, one of them were actually the A word. They never had a builder's pack. And for those of you, I'm not talking about the bad word. I'm the A word. If you hear me say a word and it's you're a brand new person here, I'm talking about the word affiliate. It's a bad word for us, right? So I'm not talking about the other A word. So I want to make sure I give y'all context because we behave as if everybody who's here this week was here last week, and we have brand new people. And welcome to the family of all of our brand new people. But 2 of those people were people who had went inactive, and one of those people were a person who never bought a builder's pack to begin with, but they got in day one. I said, get your position, right? And so now having that conversation, going back with them, letting them know this is where we're at now. And said, so your solar is still. I said, no, solar is one of the things you may never hear about solar again as long as you live, after 6 months from now. I said, we'll have solar, but you won't hear, the company be pitched the way that they used to be pitched. And so, as a matter of fact, watch this video. This is the shortest game changer you ever watch in your life. Watch this video. And so that 25-minute video, guys, it catches a person up pretty good, pretty fast on what we actually have to offer today versus what we had to offer 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months ago. And so unfortunately, it's in a follow-up. Now, when a person does come back, what you do is because they are prone to quitting. If a person will quit on you once, they will quit on you again. So if that's the case, make sure that when you have the next conversation with those individuals, you're launching them. You're getting as many resources to the table as possible. And it's not so you can make as much money as possible. It's so you can protect them from themselves. Because if they don't have anything happen in their organization, they're going to quit again. Okay? It's like me coming home saying, you know what? I quit you. You ain't cooked. It's been a whole week. You ain't cooked. And then all of a sudden, you promised to cook for me. You cook for me. Tomorrow morning I have breakfast, but no lunch, no dinner. 2 days go by, and I'm gonna quit you again. I'm gonna quit you till you get it right. Right. So, but that's what people do. But you fool around and hire a chef now. All right. All right. All right. No, you're not just feeding me, you feed me in style now. So I can't walk away from that. You can't cook, that's fine, but you ain't got me a chef. Shows me you care, right? So a person's coming back saying, okay, this is what I got. I'm excited again. This is what you do. Launch them. Anything, everything they bring to the table, put it in the business because people don't walk away from what? Profitable business opportunities. So if a person's making, $500 a month, and because they made it the build to 500, or if they have, 4 people and they haven't made build to 500 a month, but they have checks coming in, they have money coming in, and they're making their money back. They're making the 199 back based off of, monthly residuals, right? $20 here, $20 there, $10 here, $15 here. They're getting that money back, right? They're also helping themselves on their taxes as well, which is another thing. But the moment you make them profitable, okay, and where they have a group, okay, a small group at that, they won't leave because now you're walking away from profits, you're walking away from a team, and now everything that now your disbelief, your insecurities about the company, they're going away or they're gone. You're locked in. They're locked in. So lock them in with their resources, protect them from themselves so they don't continue to quit. And you do that by getting them results, helping them get sales, helping them get recruits, help them. Okay. And so I appreciate you, Brenda, coming on. That was good stuff. And I know at some point in time, we're going to have some conversations about, the claims on it when it comes to the roofing side as well, how that's coming out. And so I can't wait for us to have our conversation so we can turn around and have some other conversations. I'm gonna get with all of our claims people who are here, and we're gonna do something special for the group when we actually go live, all the way live. Okay, with that. So I appreciate you guys on that. So let's do this. One of the things that I do want to, you hear me talk about presentations. I had another training for this morning, but I'm going to do something totally different because, one thing I do know is that as we're not all from the same philosophies and the same principles, and the way we do business is different, and it's always going to be a mixture of people who you do business with. And so when you have a system and a specific way of doing things, you know we have those things in place to protect the person who is building, especially a brand new person. So let's a little bit about what happens before an actual launch call and what happens after launch call. Then I'm gonna talk about 3 ways and lifelines and how to do those effectively, because these are the things that, guys, these can cost you a fortune. Okay, let's say if let's see here, let's say if Matt it brings Roxy to the table, and he puts Roxy on the phone with me, and he's doing let's say this is after the call is over with, and he's doing all the talking, but I'm the leader, I'm the expert, right? So he puts Roxy on the phone with me. He's doing all the talking, basically de-edifies me, because I'm on the call, I'm not doing the conversations, and he's doing the talking. So now Roxy's looking at me why are we even on the phone with this dude when you got all the information? And so, guys, you want to use third-party credibility to your advantage, not to your demise. And when you ever look at, like, back in the day, I know they do things different today, and they still have some of these places that they have these commercials come on, infomercials and stuff, where you call and they when they get ready to wrap your order up, they put you on the phone with somebody else, another person, the person that's sitting at the next cubicle. They say, well, a manager has to approve it and make sure that they listen to it. Is because when you actually have an authoritative third party come on board, um, that deal is less likely to be canceled than it is if they were just talking to you, the person who's answering the phones. Well, really behind the scenes, it's the same person. It's two different people, same level. It's never the manager. That's just a part of their system. So that third party credibility is what seals the deal and keeps it on the books, right? Gets that person to sign, agree, and seals the deal. Well, the 3-way is the same way. Okay. When you are doing a 3-way, guys, the 3 ways are meant for validation. Okay. 3 ways, or it puts you in a position where you no longer now have to beat your chest with somebody who's familiar with you. You have someone else who can beat your chest for you, as well as give extreme high points about the company and opportunity, and validate everything that they saw that they were told, and they're able to do that based on edification. Okay, how you build up, okay, the person who's speaking for you with edification will determine, and I'm saying this part very, very slow because this is a part that most people miss based on their egos. It will determine whether your business blows up or blows out. Okay. If you're doing edification, it'll blow up. If you're not doing any 3 ways in edification, it's going to blow out. You're going to blow people out. And what I mean by blow people out is you're going to be too much for people. Right? You're going to be in convince mode. You're going to be in ego mode. You're going to be in all these different modes that are not productive and not duplicatable. And it's going to look toxic to a person at some point in time, which means that not only will they not join you, they're not going to refer anybody to you. But if you do the 3-way the right way, the proper way, and you get a person on the line with your senior partner, with your leader, or with your the person of your expert, you want to make sure that you do the edification. You don't want to run that person's bullet points down while you're on the phone with everybody at the same time. That makes the person who you're introducing to your leader looks like it's contrived, and it also makes it puts the leader in an embarrassing position. So all the things that you have that's great to say about the individual that you're about to introduce, let's say like Matt is putting me on the phone with Roxy. You know, what Matt's going to tell Roxy about me, he's going to tell Roxy about me before I get on the Zoom or before I get on the phone. When I get on the phone at that point in time, you know, Matt's going to say, hey, Roxy, this is Mr. Bean, the gentleman I was telling you about, one of the owners, one of the partners of the company, and one of the VP of sales of the company, the VP of sales for the company. Mr. Bean, this is Roxy. And then Matt puts himself on mute. Okay. And so I'm not going to, at that point in time, Roxy she should have a level of, respect for me based on what Matt has told her, okay, about me prior to that call. And so my goal is to make sure, one, she knows I'm down to earth. Two, she knows that, I'm here, to assist and support. And in that situation, you're going to always ask this question. Hey, Roxy, pleasure to meet you. I know you got a chance to watch the presentation, or watch the video with Matt, or you got a chance to sit down in the conversation with Matt and he showed you what we do for a living. What did you like best about what you saw? Hey, what did you like best about what you saw? And that becomes the focal point, of the conversation, right? That's the primary thing. Well, I like the way you can make money as a realtor without actually having to do the work. You know what? All of our realtors say that. You agree. We have Grant Cardone talks about the agreement drill, right? All of our realtors say that because all of our realtors are busy and they got a lot on their plate. So last thing they need is another job. And so we take that away from them and we give them 100% of their commissions. And I say their commissions, not of the commissions, right? But is there anything else, Roxy, that you like, before we move on? I also like the fact that you guys are so supportive. I also like the fact, and what you're doing is you're writing down everything, right, that person's telling you. Because what happens is the more and more intel that they give you, also what they're doing is they're selling themselves at that point in time as well. Because now remember they're giving you what they like best. If there's anything else that they like, they're going to give you that as well. Then now they're building a case to join you. Okay. So Roxy, let me ask you a question. When it comes to, and I appreciate that as well, because again, these are some of the things that make us unique in the industry. These are some of the things that make us one of the more desirable locations to do business with. These are one of the reasons why we have so many professionals, do business with us versus what people would do in network marketing. And so you basically validate their answer and in a positive way, so they feel good about that. That's a win for them. That's personal emotional momentum for them, right? So at this point, I'm going to ask Roxy, so let me ask you this question. So now we got that point. So what's important to you when it comes to business right now? Is it time? Is it money? Is it is it expanding your company or expanding your reach all over the U.S., outside the U.S.? What's important to you? Okay. And so I asked that question. So you know what? I mean, right now, if there's anything that when it comes to your industry, what you do right now, there are things that you love, right? What are the things that you feel like can be done different? Or what are the things that you feel like, you know, um, they can change and make it a better environment, or they can change and make it a better situation for you? And you get them talking about what they do for a living. Get them to talk about the changes that they want to get made. If you were the leader at that company, what would you change? Okay. Thinking about business. Right? And so let me ask you a question. So now from a scale of 1 to 10, one being, hey, you don't believe anything we said, you think Matt's just brainwashed or whatever it is, and you don't want us to call you anymore, to 7, you have some things that you're uncertain about that you want to get addressed, or 10, you ready to rock and roll. Where are you on a scale of 1 to 10? Well, I'm at a 7 right now. There's some things that I'm uncertain about. And notice I said, you know, I have more questions. I didn't say I have more questions because, you know, when you ask a person, if they have any other questions, they're going to find questions to ask, and they're always going to be the ones that are objective questions, like the ones that create barriers and boundaries. And so the person who's asking the question is always the person that's in control. Okay. And so that person is controlling the conversation. So, if you're uncertain about, is there anything you're uncertain about? Oh yeah, okay, well, great. It's about, time or conflict interest, whatever it is. So okay, so now let me ask you a question. Roxy, since you said time, right? And so you teach a trading class, you do this, you do that. So time is not one of your big things. So if I took time off the table, would there be anything else keeping you from moving forward with us today? No, timing is the thing. Okay, well, and then this is how you address time. So we have a do it for you system, Roxy, where all you do is bring the resource to the table. We do 100% of the work, and you make 100% of the money. That's what our other professionals who are just like you who have no time. That's what they do. Okay. Well, hey Roxy, outside of time, is there anything else that would be stopping you if we were to address the time situation? Would there be anything else keeping you from moving forward with us today? You know, well, yeah, there's also, the money right now. I just don't know why I need to be, paying $200, to get started. Okay, so all right, great. So Roxy, we have time, we have, clarity on why there needs to be an investment. Okay. Anything else? Anything else uncertain? So if we address both those issues and we put you in a position where you're comfortable with those answers to both those situations, are you ready to move forward? Is there anything else that would keep you from moving? No, just those things. Okay, well, great. And so always ask that question. Learn how to ask that question, guys, 100% of the time. Now I know this is important to you. I know this is how much money you want to make. And you said you had something that you were uncertain about. What is that? Get that uncertainty. Ask that question. Okay, well, once we address this, before you address it, before you solve it, once we address this, is there anything else that would stop us moving forward today? Okay, if we were able to address this today, nothing. Okay, perfect. So the 3 ways, guys, you're walking a person through. Okay. Let's see here. Hold on. Matt, come on. I can't read everything, Matt. If you can, come off and ask the question.
Yeah, hey, Mr. Bean. Yeah, so I had a three-way yesterday, and the guy was adamant on wanting to hop on the trainings before making a decision. He loved everything about the business, about he gets 7 different businesses with the comp plan, everything, and he said that he had I guess a bad experience with the life insurance, and it wasn't all what he thought it was, and then he ended up quitting it after a couple weeks. But he was like so adamant on like, no, I want to hop on your guys' trainings, whatever trainings you guys have first before I even hop on board.
Okay. So this is what you do in a situation like that. And so you know what? I always agree, 100%. You know what? I agree because I've had experiences like that where I've been a part of things and people have sold me the big goals, big dreams, and they end up being big nightmares. And so what I learned how to do is I learned how to evaluate companies, and so that's why my first couple of companies, I made no money in it. It was a learning experience. It's kind of like business university. The last, five companies that I've been in, I've made 3 figures. I mean 7 figures in 3 of them, and so I've gotten a lot better at evaluating companies. So I know exactly what you're saying. But when you say you want to look at the trainings first, what specifically are you looking for? Because I want to make sure that you get exactly what you need. What specifically, Matt, are you looking for in our actual trainings?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was asking him, like something in that category, right? And he just said that he just wants to get more information on it and hear the trainings. So then I went all the way back and went through everything that we had to that we have, about the understanding of the company, how to close a deal. Like you let us do all the heavy lifting, you just refer. So he works for T-Mobile. Right, currently, and his main thing was, I want, the main thing I'm looking at the company is I need money because I want to make more money. So that was his main thing of why he's looking into it, because he wants to make more money. But then he went into the training side and then wants to get more information on the training before he made a decision.
So this is what you do. So this is what you do. So you have is this a personal or somebody in your group? You did three-way. So
This one, yeah, this is for one of my guys. Yeah.
okay. So, one, I don't know who you were working with and who made those promises to you. But right now we have one of the fastest growing groups in the company. Okay, and let me share with you why. I work directly with the CEO, the president, the vice president of sales, right? As well as other partners and investors. So we're learning everything real time. We get everything firsthand. Okay. There's nobody in the company that's in a better position for you to join than me, right now. That's one. Two, everything that I'm going to give you access, I'm going to show you some of the things that we use to train our people. And be honest with you, that should be enough because anybody who knows anything about what I'm going to show you, that seals the deal. But more important than the training is the environment and leadership and the people and your support. Training is nothing. Anybody can find training on anything they want to do. Matt, I just want you to know that you're with people who are making it happen. You're right there at the top of the situation, and you're plugged. You're going to be tied in and working with somebody who's tied in to the owners of the company. Okay, so from a business perspective, that's way more important than and you're sharing that with them, not directly like insulting what he said, right? You're giving him the positional feedback that he needs. He needs to be led, right? He needs because a lot of people ask questions and they ask questions because they think they need to ask questions, and they ask questions. Some people ask questions that sound like they're smarter than what they really are, and they ask questions to get out of signing up. People ask questions for a lot of different reasons. Okay, and so you just have to be on point on purpose when they start asking questions, trying to figure out, okay, why are they really asking this question? So when you ask that question, why are you asking this particular question? What is it? Are you trying to get so I can help you get to that to what you really need? So now, after you tell them that you're connected and you let them know that you're going to be working with them, this is not just Bernice in this example. It's going to be me, you, and Bernice. Or it's going to be me, you, and Roxy. It's going to be me, you, and Dr. Felicia. Or it's going to be me, you, and Jenny, right? Whoever it is, you don't just have us because you're on that 199 pack, because you're on the builder. You'll have access if you're a solar guy. You'll have access to Danny Pessy and JC Rangel. Okay. If you are on the 199 pack, you're going to have access to Grant Cardone's ratings. Okay. Grant Cardone, Danny Pessy is tops, when it comes to solar. Grant Cardone is tops when it comes to sales. As a matter of fact, your company probably uses Grant Cardone, when it comes to training the sales force. That's how great his trainers are. And then we have our Saturday morning training calls with Mr. Bean and and the rest of the team, the other leaders, where we present and where we train on everything that you need, and all this stuff is archived. And so training is not going to be a challenge for you. Support is not going to be a challenge for you. Outside of training and support, is there anything else that would keep you from moving forward with us today? Right? And so you just take it away. And so it's not that you need to see something, it's that you need to know that things are there for you, right? And I give you
Yeah.
access. I mean, I can screenshot the Facebook group, I can screenshot the WhatsApp group where you can see all the wins. I can show you what we all have. I said, but as far as like, if you're really serious about building business, that's let's get to what we really need to be talking about. Because
Okay.
and so that's what you want to make sure you're always the person who is the leader. You always have the posture. You always want to make sure you address what they're talking about head on and take it away from them. You know, so like even if a person we had somebody ask me about money the other day. Well, why do I have to invest $200? To do business? I said, well, first of all, I need you to ask yourself that question one more time. So why do I have to invest $200 to do business? Say that one more time, just a little bit louder. Why do I have to invest $200 to be a part of your company? Okay, great. So first of all, we're talking about a company, that if you came in and you sold one deal, you can make $6,000 to $10,000 on a deal. Can you do that on your job right now? No. Okay. All right. Well, great. You're talking about a company that you're getting all this free stuff. It's worth way more than $200. You get these benefits that come with travel that's worth way more than $200. I've saved over $1,000 in trips already. You get over $2,000 in and literally over $2,000 in hotels already. You get so much money back in taxes. Or when it comes to that $200. Again, you need to be the first person to pay this $200. This is business. This is not a job, right? This is a company. This is where you learn how to be an entrepreneur, right? This is why you need to pay $200, because you not paying $200 is costing you a flat out fortune. If you wouldn't trade a 3-figure investment, to make 7 figures in a company, I'm talking to the wrong person. If you wouldn't trade 3-figure investment to make 6 figures, I'm talking to the wrong person. This is business. Guys, you got to make sure that you are convicted with what you have. You know what you got your hands on, and there's nothing better than what we have our hands on out there. Okay, period. But I appreciate you, Matt. So yeah, so when it
Thank
comes
you.
to lifelines, 3 ways. That's what 3 ways are. Now, when a person anybody got any questions on 3 ways before I go to lifelines real quick, and then okay. So 3 ways is for validation. It's confirmation. It's not for a person to go in there and start to convince your customer for you. It's you doing a job, a really, really good job, all the way up to that point, and that person's already in. They just need somebody to validate that they're making the right decision and that they're going to be supported when they do so. Okay. A lifeline is different. A lifeline happens after they get started. Because some of you guys are pretty good to the point to where you get people signed up, and now all of a sudden, you want to introduce that individual to the senior partner. So now one is before they sign up, the 3-way to validate. One is after they sign up, right? To make sure that they stay in long enough to be successful. That's the lifeline. The lifeline, right, is, let's say I'm on with Sekou, right, and Sekou just got started, and my senior partner is Freddie, okay? And I'm calling Freddie as my senior partner, and I'm saying, hey, I'm letting him know beforehand, hey, look, I got hey, Mr. Ross, I got a guy who just signed up Sekou, East Coast guy. He liked the water, and so but he just signed up, build a pack, he's ready to rock and roll. And so I'm giving Mr. Freddie the whole entire lowdown on it, and so he can communicate, and what he liked best about it, what Sekou liked best about it was just the water, as well as some of the money. He wants to retire early. Okay. So when Mr. Ross gets on the line, I introduce Sekou to Mr. Ross. I do it the same way I would as a 3-way. Okay, Mr. Ross, this is Sekou, the gentleman I was telling you about. Sekou, this is Mr. Ross, my senior partner, the person who's helped me build my business. Okay? And then I put myself on mute. Then what Mr. Ross proceeds to do is, one, welcome to the family. Two, ask him what he like. What was it that made him want to get started in the business? What intrigued you enough to say, you know what, I got to do business with these people. Okay. 3 is, ask the question, hey, look, if I knew the shortcut to success, okay, if I could help you collapse time frames and reduce frustration, would you want me to share with you? Yeah, okay, great. Don't miss meetings that you're qualified to attend. Okay. We have things that are set up in the system for you to win. Okay. You may not understand it at the time, but trust me, it's necessary. I'm going to be here to help you. I'm showing you my support. Okay. Sam Bean is going to be here to help you. He's one of our up and coming builders, right? Just hit Builder 500. So he's doing things right way. Okay. Mr. Ross is upline. Angel's going to be here. Angel, Miss Trent, she's going to be here to help you. My upline, Miss Trent, she's going to be here to help you. So you got 3 or 4 different people saying, you know what, I'm here to help you. And they're all saying, plug into the system. They're all saying, make sure you make it to the events. They're all saying, hey, follow the system. You know, like go through the roadmap, playbook, go through the 6 steps to success, 6 steps to 6 figures, right? They're all saying the same exact thing. They're all saying build your list, do everything that's on the 6 steps, 6 steps to 6 figures. So you're basically going through, they're telling that person what they need to do on a lifeline to be successful. Be on the millionaire mentorship calls on Monday, be on this on the crash camps on Saturdays. Okay. And depending on what you want to focus on, if it's solar, be on the solar Mondays. Okay. If it's just sales in general, we have Chris Hart who trains, and we also have an archive of some calls from him, archive of some calls from Grant Cardone, archive of some calls from Danny Pesci. We also have our VT Lightspeed, which is a channel that has a lot of different trainings on from our corporate trainers. But you're going to have everything you need. Okay. And so I just want to know that you're ready to go through this process with us. Yeah, okay, great. And so your goal, if I'm not mistaken, was what? $10,000 a month? Okay, great. So that's basically build 8,000. And so you want to get there faster, you want to get there slower? That's the question. You want to get there faster, you want to get there slower? And 9 times out of 10, people are going to tell you faster. So that's when you double down and say, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. Okay, because they don't know how to get there faster. They know how to get there slower. They don't know how to get there faster. So what Mr. Ross is going to do is say, hey, Sekou, this is what we're going to do. We're going to launch you, okay? And in order to make $10,000 a month, this is where Mr. Ross goes into the bartering system, right? So, hey, Sekou, in order for you to make $10,000 a month, are you willing to, do everything that we have here in the 6 steps to 6 figures? Yes. Okay, great. Okay, so Sekou, in order for you to make $6,000 or $10,000 a month, are you willing to go ahead and put, create a list and itemize it like it says here on Think? Yeah, I'm willing to do it. Okay, great. So Sekou, in order to make this this $10,000 a month, because I'm giving you $10,000 a month, but you got to give me something back. Okay, are you willing to start having some lunch calls and inviting people to the Zooms that I can actually do the presentation for you, or that Sam Bean can do the presentation because he can do presentations as well, or Miss Trin, depending on who's available. Any of us could do presentations for you, but are you willing to put people on a Zoom for us so we can present on your behalf? Yeah, I can do that. All right, cool. So, and then you continue to barter all the way down till you get that person to commit to doing everything they're supposed to be doing to actually win. And because they're doing that, because you're doing it, one, you're when you're getting a person on a lifeline, when let's say Sekou goes and talks to somebody who's extremely negative in their family, or a friend or associate or a coworker or colleague, or somebody who just wants to be, an employee for the rest of their life, they're going to try to steal Sekou's dream, or they're going to do it indirectly, just unintentionally. Either way it goes, it's not going to be good for him. But if Sekou has already talked to me, I'm here to help. He's already talked to Mr. Ross, he's already talked to him, so he's here to help. He's already talked to Mrs. Tran, she's here to help. Now all of a sudden, he talks to his buddy Tony, and Tony says, "Man, run." He said, "No, I'm good. I got 3 people who I talked to. They all winning right now. They're all plugged in, and they're all doing good things, and they're all here to help me. So now I appreciate you. I'm good though. But let me know if you need solar. Let me know if you need water. Let me know if you need some financial advice. My financial advisor. Let me know if you need some security. Let me know if you need something." So now that person's fortified, right? That lifeline protects them from the people who will come and steal them, the negative people. Okay. So that's a lifeline. Okay. Now, when it comes to the call, we'll wrap up on the calls. So when it comes to the lifeline, that's a lifeline. So you know the difference between a 3-way and a lifeline. Now, when it comes to the calls, guys, when it comes to lunch calls, one, a lot of you have stage fright when it comes to those calls. And a lot of you have figured out real fast that what Carly does is not as easy as you thought it was, right? Yeah. It's something that has to be worked on over time. And when you work on that, it shows, it really does show. And so when you see people and I get real comfortable, I start picking people and the people I start picking, like you see Sabrina a lot now because I'm more comfortable with, she has a foundation of it and we can always go back and tweak, say like, I wouldn't have been this long, just shorten it up a little bit, tighten it up a bit, but it's all little stuff, little fine tuned stuff. Okay. Or I would say that, you know what, I'll probably say that. I love how you said that. Say that again, put a little bit more emphasis on it. Or whatever it is, I can give small, tangible, correction points. But that's y'all look over it, y'all read through the bullet points, and then all of a sudden y'all got peanut butter in your mouth when it's time to introduce, when it's time to host. You forget everything you're supposed. It's like it's supposed to be a consistent flow of hey everybody, welcome to the call. Not thank you, because they're not doing you a favor for being there. Hey everybody, welcome to the call. Congratulations for you guys being here. And look forward to you guys getting this information. Get yourself something to write with, something to write on. Be prepared to take some copious notes. Okay. If you like typing, type it. It doesn't matter. If you want to record it, record it. It doesn't matter. Just make sure that you are prepared to get this information. Right. And so I'll be introducing you to the speaker in a little bit. But guys, right now, go ahead and let us know who you are, where you're calling from. So you can tell I've done this a couple of times, right? So that's how you get in front of everybody, right? Being able to edify and boom. And so you want to be able to rattle that off. Y'all not role playing that at all. Because I want to share something with you guys. You guys are the most important person on the presentation. It's not the presenters. You guys build a bridge, and that bridge, is a connection. And that bridge tells people why Brenda should listen to Jim when Jim is presenting, or why Jim need to listen to Brenda while Brenda is presenting. And if you can't do that, now the actual presenter has to dig themselves out of a hole. Okay, they literally have to dig themselves out of a hole, and it's nerve-wracking. Okay, and you put the person in a position where now they're fighting an uphill battle. They look nervous. They look like they got anxiety, and these are professionals. And you pretty much blew the presentation for everybody. And I'm gonna say it like that because I need you to understand the totality of what you have your hands on. Like you literally control, what happens to a large degree in a presentation when you're talking before or after the presentation. Okay, so when you have those bullet points, like I have my bullet points, and it's in the group. You should have your bullet points. Everybody should have bullet points, edifiable bullet points. Okay. And make sure everybody on your team has your edifiable bullet points, because you're going to be doing a three-way with them one day, a lifeline with them one day, or you're going to be doing a presentation for them one day. And they need to be able to, they should say it so much in conversation that when they host you, it just comes out natural. Like when I talk about people about joining the company, I talk about the owners in a way that I talk about all the owners' bullet points. So when it comes time for me to edify them, I can rattle off the edification with no problem because I talk about their accomplishments on a regular basis. So when you listen to a person who's trying to introduce you and they don't know your bullet points, is because there's no edification going on or they didn't practice. One of the two. Those are the two reasons, right? There's no edification, they're not using it, or they didn't practice, and that stage fright got them. Hey, but once you get on, once you got everybody rolling and you got everybody connected, you got everybody hosting, or stating their name, what they calling from, and stuff like that. At that point in time, you start, unless you have, other instructions, you start on time. Like I tell everybody, at exactly 2 minutes after the hour start, or exactly 2 minutes after the prescribed time start. Okay, because I want to make sure that it's not 5 minutes. 5 minutes is way too long. You should never be doing anything, 5 minutes in before the speaker is even introduced. Right. So at 2 minutes, you start to introduce, and that's when you start to edify. The edification needs to be strong, period. Have high energy, great conviction that the person who's about to grab this microphone is about to change somebody's life. And it may be yours, may not be yours, but somebody's about to get it. Okay. And so then you walk away, and make sure that edification is short and powerful. Learn how to say more with less. We're going to talk about that another week, because a lot of you have a lot to say, right? and there are shorter ways of getting there. All right. And you want to take the shorter ways, the shortest way to get there without losing the value. And you'll find that the less you say with more value, the more power it has behind it. People will give you more and more time. They'll listen to you a whole lot more. Every time you call, they'll pick up the phone, because some people love you, but they don't pick up the phone because you don't know how to get to the point. Okay. So when you're doing the edification, get to the point, hit it hard, right? Make a person feel privileged, to be able to sit there and listen to this individual speak. And they'll pay attention, may even take some notes. Make sure they get something right with something right on. Make sure they get ready to take some copious notes, record, whatever, because the information that you're about to hear, you don't want to miss this information, right? And so I'm setting the tone. Then I'll introduce the person that said, I got Matt who's speaking. I'm introducing Matt. Matt comes on, he gives it back, gives me a shout out. Once it's over, if Matt's hosting like a lunch call, after the lunch call is over with, guys, this is what happens. Matt is going to give the action, the basic action steps, next step. But before he kills the call, he's going to open up the call for the person whose lunch call that it is. And that person's whose lunch call that it is, that person's job is to do a couple different things. One, teach the people how to edify the actual speaker, right? So you teach the people, say, you know what? I'm gonna say, Mr. Acosta, I appreciate you taking the time out of your evening, to have this conversation with my friends, my associates, my colleagues, because you could have been anywhere else but here. Okay, I appreciate that. Don't take that for granted. And so, that's one thing I'm going to do. I'm going to give him a shout out for that. Two, I'm going to say, hey guys, now y'all see why I'm so excited. All right. Some type of statement like that, it kind of gets people like, okay, now, yeah, we kind of, you want them to agree and you want them to shake their heads. So guys, now you see why I'm so excited. Well, now you see why I couldn't wait for you guys to watch this, correct? Okay, great. So this is what's going to happen. One, I've already probably been receiving text messages while this is going on saying, hey, look, just send me the link. So if you call me when this is over with and I'm not available, I'm probably on the phone with somebody who was on the call with you. Okay. So trust me on this one. Take the link, sign up, and then we'll have your game playing session. We'll do your Q&A, whatever. We need to do that afterwards, but you want to make sure you get positioned before everybody else. And then after I talk about, that I may not answer, I'll get right back with you. Then what I'll do is, I'll let everybody know, hey, look, this is, again, what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it, which is my goal. So I'm using this company here to fire my boss. I'm using this company here, to put my kids to school. I'm using this company here to fire my spouse's boss, or whatever it is. This is what I see, this company doing for me. And so I don't know what, it is for you, but this is why I got started. So you guys, you see it, you see yourself doing business with us, reach out to me right away and we'll get your position, get your personal game plan session knocked out. And then for everybody else, we'll talk about, the things that you have that we offer, that we may be able to put in your homes. Okay. So other than that, thank you guys. I mean, congratulations, you guys, for showing up. And we're going to jump off here and start taking some calls. And so, but I want to turn it back over to Mr. Acosta again. Mr. Acosta, thank you very much. I'll turn it back over to you. And so, when Matt gets back on as the leader, he's going to, if there's anybody else involved, let's just say if I have some people who are of my senior partners, he may say, hey, oh, and by the way, if you're working with Sam Bean, you're also working with Brenda Nava. That's his senior partner. She's going to be here to help. You're also working with Carla Wynn. She's Brenda's senior partner. She's here to help. So you have, a really good, solid core team member. As a matter of fact, Carla, just say hello real quick. And Carla says hello. Okay, hey, Brenda, just say hello, everybody real quick. And so Brenda says hello. It's not Brenda's time or Carla's time to come on and give a big speech. The big speech has been done. It's called a presentation, right? And so anything outside of, hey guys, looking forward to working with you guys, is a big speech. and it's a new presentation. And so now what you're saying is you have to come back in and convince everybody on the call to go ahead and get signed up because the speaker didn't do a good enough job doing that. Mr. Costa didn't do a good enough job on it. So that would be total de-edification of Brenda if she did that. Or if Carla came on and say, hey guys, oh, by the way, one of the things I love about this company is, and you're going to love this, and I would definitely say, focus on this. Matter of fact, do this. Now all of a sudden, Carla is training and presenting again. So she's killing the deal. She's undoing all the great work that Mr. Costa just did in the presentation. And she's also undoing all the hard work that Sam Bean did getting people on that call. I spent weeks calling for my first lunch call, and I got as many people on there as I could. And you came and killed it because, again, you thought it was more important to be heard than to be a part of the system and play your role. And so when he says, say hello and do a presentation of two totally different things. Okay? Just do what's asked, guys. You'll be amazed at how if Carla does that and somebody gets in the business, they're going to allow people to do them the same exact way. They're going to do the same exact thing that Carla did on every presentation. Let's say Sabrina gets started on every presentation that Sabrina's on now, even if it's not Sabrina's presentation, she's going to go off telling everybody how great the company is, why they should get started right away, and not knowing because she's in. She thinks because it worked on me, it's going to work on everybody. But what she doesn't know is how many people she took the opportunity from. Carla did. I think too. How many people Carla took the opportunity from by having those extra words and what she thought was encouragement. And so Sabrina sees that as, oh, I'm gonna do what my leader did. I'm gonna do the same exact thing. And so now Carla has started a cancer down in her organization, right? And now when Solar Vic comes on, he's gonna do the same exact thing that Sabrina did. When Freddie comes on, he's gonna do the same exact thing that Solar Vic and Sabrina did. And now it's going to be virtually impossible for you to go in and correct that leg. You're going to have to find some people who haven't been, tainted by the cancer that you can work with directly and just start a new line of healthy business in that leg before you totally lose it. Okay. But get a person off of those launch calls right away. That's the goal. Okay. No trainings ever on a launch call, ever on any presentation call. That's important. Okay. Get off the phone, start making phone calls, calling everybody who was on those launch calls. Also, do screenshots of everybody. Like when you scroll down the list, you see all the people on there, do screenshots of who's all on so you can go back and say, hey, I saw you on the call, glad you was able to make it. And I'm only calling the people back right now that was there. Everybody else was going to have to suffer. So what did you like best about what you heard? Start making those phone calls. But you also know who wasn't on based on the screenshots. You're taking inventory of who wasn't on as well. And you're calling those people back saying, hey, MJ, hey, real quick, I don't know if you were on right now. We had so many people on the call, but if you were on, you probably saw that or not. But let me ask you a question. What did you like best about what you heard today? Okay. And so MJ says, I didn't get a chance to make it. Wow, I hate you missed it. Oh my God, you missed an awesome presentation. This is what I'll do. I'm going to send you, the presentation that we have recorded, and you can watch that. And but I got to get back to all the people who were on the call. I hate you missed it. Watch the presentation, and maybe sometime next week, we can get back together. As a matter of fact, and just because now you want to put value on your time. You want to put value on your time. You want to put value on your proposition. So that's important. Now, the other thing you don't do, guys, if you're tag teaming, if you're the first speaker, never ever speak after the last speaker. Okay, there's no justifiable reason for a person who spoke on the first part to ever come back and speak on the second part. Okay, what you're doing now, because remember, the person who's the last person is the closer, right? And that individual, once they shut it down, it's done, right? If you come back in after that, now what you just told everybody is that person isn't an expert. That person doesn't know what they're doing. That person actually missed some stuff that you wanted to bring to light. And by the way, the people who are there, guys, as guests, they don't know what they missed because they never seen a presentation. Okay. And so, and announcements and stuff like that, we don't make announcements and promotional announcements on calls. Like I said, let's just say, hey, today you're getting in for $99 instead of $199. That's the only type of promotions that you actually announce. We don't announce recruiting promotions or any of that stuff on presentations because, again, that kills the deals. That puts people in the network marketing frame of mind. And you basically now all the work that people did to get people to those calls, you just killed it. Okay. And so there are a lot of the mistakes that we make, unintentional mistakes, but we make them nonetheless. And the cool part about making them is that you get to learn from them. Okay. Now, if you don't learn from it, it means that everything you do at that point in time is intentional. That means it's about you, not about the system. Okay. And so when it comes to the system, guys, y'all know when it comes to speakers, I put speakers up there that we can trust. People who don't have egos, people who are presenting in the system, people who are following the criteria, people who are doing the edification. Those are people I like to have out there. When you look at the representation of this group and the representation of the company, I want people to see nothing but humble professionals that are out there winning. People who love what they have their hands on, who are passionate about helping people, and who are out there in the trenches winning. So we had to, in this situation, you would actually have to be like a Builder 500 or a Builder 1000 or something like that to speak in the last company. Like just out the gate, they didn't let anybody speak until we knew you were presenting. You didn't speak just because we didn't have anybody else to speak. It was a criteria. You had to earn the right to speak in front of the company. You had to have things going on in your business. You had to have those repetitions. You weren't just a professional speaker. You were a professional builder who could speak based on the fact that you know what you do every day in the process. And at some point in time, we're growing into that right now, as far as the speaking group, and I'm going to continue to expand the speaking group. So when we do, we have a lineup on Tuesday nights that Tuesday night lineup is going to be nice, professional, varied backgrounds, people who are winning, people who are ranked up, but people who are really good at presenting. And so we're gonna have our presentation training in a very, very near future. And I'm gonna make sure I open it up to everybody as well. So, but those are the things, guys, that I wanted to touch on this week because so many presentations are going on right now that if we don't have a conversation about it, a lot of you guys will lose a lot of your business. And I want to make sure you guys don't lose any business when you can actually help it. So next week, same time, same line, more people, and more effectiveness. Next week, I guarantee you, we will get started with the training by 9:30. Okay. Next week, I cut mics off. Next week, we will learn how to say more with less. And so, again, this is where we cultivate you guys and get you guys ready for the big stage. So, appreciate you. Go out there. It's Solar Saturday. It's a subscription Saturday. It's Super Saturday. But go out there and make it your Saturday, guys. See you guys next week. Have a good one.
Thank you, Mr. Bean. Thank you, Mr.
Mr.
Bean.
Bean. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Bean.
Bye-bye.
Bye.